Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
All right, this is Juice Robinson, and you're listening to Keepin It Strong Style. You better keep listening. We're at WrestleCon having a blast.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out in Barrio the Frost. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here, joined by the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll be reviewing the second round of the New Japan Cup, as well as covering all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show by subscribing to the Social Suplex Podcast Network on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts and columns at socialsuplex.com. Go to socialsuplex.com/subscribe to sign up to get all the podcasts and columns delivered directly to your email inbox. This episode of Keeping It Strong Style is brought to you by Powerslam.tv. Powerslam TV is an independent streaming service with over 4,000 hours of wrestling from companies across the world. Also, make sure you check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/socialsuplex. That's where you can find your official Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt. Also, we got Suplex Mania coming up in just a couple weeks, April 7th at the Hooters across from Madison Square Garden. Come join us at 5 p.m. We'll be doing a live podcast followed by a WrestleMania watch party. So come out and hang out with your boys at Suplex Mania. All right, young boy, we are hot and heavy into this New Japan Cup. This past week, we just had the second round completed, man.
You know what I was hoping you would do? I was hoping that you would ask me a question like, how are you doing today, or how's it going, or something like that. And then I was going to respond by asking the same question to you. And then the next part of the bit was going to be about how in sales we use porcupine questions. The person who's asking the questions has all the power. But you didn't do that. So then the bit didn't work. And then I explained the bit, but it really holds no relevancy. That was going to be my open for the week. I thought of it 5 seconds ago. That was going to be what we were going to talk about. And now it's ruined.
I'm sorry, man. I guess we need to go over this kind of stuff in the pre-production meeting.
We don't have a pre-production meeting. Our pre-production meeting is you pretty much putting everything together and me scrambling to like be ready. And then I come out and you're like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I like pace around for a bit. I throw water in my face. I say, "Ow now, brown cow." And then I'm like, "All right, let's do this." And we talk 0% about what we're going to discuss entirely.
Yeah, guys, like all the quote-unquote bits, jokes, gimmicks, opinions are fresh. Like, we don't practice or rehearse or go over any of this stuff. And usually, like off air, yeah, we'll talk about some of the matches and opinions, but most of the time, we're getting our opinions fresh on the air. All these jokes and gimmicks are just improv. Like, none of this stuff is pre-planned. This is not a work.
What gimmick are you talking about?
The gimmicks.
What gimmicks? I don't have any gimmicks. This is a shoot, brother.
That's what I'm saying. This show is a shoot.
This is the life I live. You remember when we were at that wrestling show and I told Big Daddy that I liked his act, and he's like, "Act!"
Yeah, he's like, "Act!
What do you mean act?
What act?
And I was like, well, you're wearing a surgeon costume. And the dude that you accompany dresses like like an alchemist from like he's cosplaying like a steampunk. Like, it's clearly an act. Like, I don't see y'all walking through like, CVS dressed like this, or like, just going to breakfast or brunch or whatever. Like, this is clearly a gimmick. He's like, this ain't a gimmick.
He's like, let me show you back in 1982 when I was working in the Tampa Auditorium. I was like, all right.
Yeah, bro, he got worked up.
Yeah.
Protecting kayfabe.
Yeah.
Unlike some people.
And other promotions.
That Inokiism crap.
Yeah.
That's what WWE is nowadays. Look at who they got on top. That Inokiism crap. Ruining the business.
Yeah.
Thank God we have pro wrestling over in Japan.
Oh, man. All right, so this past week we had the second round matches of the New Japan Cup, and I'll just go out and say, man, my bracket took some blows.
Oh, I know it did.
In the second round.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a vast majority of our listeners' brackets took a huge hit.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it, but like, I started alluding to it last week, and I could see the look on your face when I started saying it, and we'll get into it, but I was like, wouldn't it make sense for Zack Sabre to like beat all the same guys he beat last year? And then I saw you looking, and you're like, they could go that way.
Oh, man.
I was like, I don't know, that story kind of makes sense to me. It's all the same guys he beat last year. They could go that way.
Oh, my gosh. All right, man. Let's jump in this thing. So we got night 5, and we're not gonna really break down every single multi-man match. Know that every night on the tour there were a bunch of multi-man tags with young boys, New Japan dads, guys who got eliminated from the tournament, guys that are in the tournament. Some of the key takeaways from the multi-man matches. There's a lot of setup for Juice and Chase. Chase constantly attacking Juice in multi-man matches, almost package power driving him outside on the ring. We have more news about that rivalry later on in the show. You had Ibushi and Naito in multi-man matches, teasing a future IC title match. Of course, you had the Young Lions taking it, trying to step up against New Japan dads. The interesting battle with Chaos versus Chaos. And there's the hilarious moment of Goto being jealous when Taguchi takes his spot in the that pose they do. What's it called again? The Zama.
I like Zamasushi.
The Zama whatever pose.
I don't know.
But dude, the face that Goto made was freaking hilarious. There's like a gif of it going around now too.
Goto was pissed.
Yeah, that man was shook. But yeah, so I mean, those are kind of the major keys of the undercards. I mean, if you have time, go back and watch it. I mean, if you don't, I mean, there's not too much you're missing from the undercard matches. But let's start with these.
They should kick Goto out.
Oh, I don't know, man. They're bringing all these guys into Chaos.
They didn't kick him out the way they kicked out Booker T out of the NWO. Yo, how racist was that? One of these things isn't like the other.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Sean?
Yeah. He's like one of these guys. They're just not the same.
How?
Yeah. What do you mean, Sean? Huh?
But no, Goto's not like the rest. They need to kick him out.
I don't know. If they can have Mad Mikey Nichols in the group, I think they can hold on to Goto.
Mikey Nichols joining Chaos is like them jumping the shark. That's not a joke. I'm not even being funny. Like, I'm dead serious. This is that's like the death knell for. I mean, they're gonna continue to exist, but it's like they're jumping the shark. Like, they're never gonna be Chaos ever again. They got Mikey freaking Nichols in there. Like, it's too much Jagness. They got Mikey Nichols. They got Yoshihashi. Goto's gone down so many rungs. Like, Inokiism.
Somebody's got to do the jobs on the team.
Westernization. The Elite are gone. New Japan is on a downturn, bro.
We're going to the Dark Ages, man. So speaking of Dark Ages, we had Yoshihashi taking on the crown jewel, Chase Owens, in the first tournament matchup of this past week.
Bro, I was popping, bro. I was popping. I was in my room. I was chanting, "Fight forever." Both these guys. Yeah, I was. No, this match. I don't know. I mean, what did you think? I mean, I felt like they had a lot going against them. Just being in the venue they were at. The crowd, where were they, by the way? They're in one of those like rural like gymnasiums.
Yeah, I don't have the location on me right now.
It's the whole like the open gym with the like full house lights, and the crowd really wasn't into either of these guys. I thought Chase was passable. Like he did a really good job as a heel.
Mm-hmm. Worked on the injured shoulder of
Yep.
Yoshihashi throughout the match.
And Yoshihashi was fine too, but I don't know, man. Like sometimes, and I know we criticize him a lot, but I do have to criticize him here. It's hard for me to feel like his matches are ever a big deal, even when he's doing a lot of impressive things. It's just hard. Like there's an element of drama or like levity that is missing from his matches, and it just makes it feel like a Jag match, no matter how impressive it is. It's Yoshihashi. It's just a guy, and he's just having a match, even with Chase Owens.
Yeah, and it's hard to invest in Yoshihashi. I mean, even the commentators are pretty much like burying this guy every match.
I still really question whether they do that on the Japanese side or not, because I don't know if they do. But
Right.
but yeah, it is pretty.
I mean, even you have Rocky out there who works in the office, and
Yeah.
they're in the same faction, same
Yeah.
stable, and they're out there, when is Yoshihashi finally going to make the big one? When's he going to step up? When's he finally going to get confidence in himself? Like, just constantly just asking all these questions and just, like, bashing Yoshihashi. And, Rocky's like, he needs to start winning some matches for Chaos and just...
Well, it's interesting because, in New Japan, a lot of the stories are nuanced. And sometimes, people are always like, there's no stories in New Japan or whatever. And obviously we've taken that sort of stance to task, and we don't agree with it. But sometimes there really is no story. And sometimes there is no story because it is a sports-centric product. Sometimes you as a fan are left putting pieces together. Not in the same way that you would, say, watching WWE when things don't make sense and you have to, like, make it make sense. But, something like Yoshihashi. He's just in the tournament. There's not really a story arc except for the matches he's having. And I do wonder sometimes if there's not much of a story, how much of what's going on with the commentators is just them trying to tell a story, and paint a picture.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily that like these how we view Yoshihashi's character, that he is kind of adrift, that he's an underachiever, an underdog, and all. I mean, some of that is true, but I do wonder how much of it is like the commentators just kind of looking at the guy, not knowing what to do, what to say, not getting much direction, and just being like, all right, here's what we got with Yoshihashi. They just throw it out there.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're like building to anything. It's just, there it is. And they're left to their own devices. I think that there's a lot of leeway with the English commentary team, and they're just left to say what they want to say,
Yeah. And, overall, I thought this match was fine.
It was fine.
I gave it the gentleman's 3.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, Chase doing a good job being heel, working over the shoulder. Pretty much came down to Jado. He accidentally hits Chase Owens with the kendo stick. Yoshihashi gets a near fall.
He did try to kill Yoshihashi.
Yeah.
He tried to hit him with that package pile driver on the apron. I was like, oh my God, he's going to kill this dude.
Yeah, and then Yoshi eventually gets Chase in the horrible-looking butterfly lock, and but Chase escapes out of that, but then Yoshi hits the karma and gets the win.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of the match, they did start hitting a lot. And this is something that Yoshihashi sort of excels at, and I think Chase does too, where a lot of believable near falls, and that was something that they started highlighting towards the end. But prior to that, it was just kind of a match, and then they went to a hot finish, and then, after the kendo shot and all that, it was what it was. I mean, I would go 3, maybe not even 3, honestly. It was kind of, I don't know, it felt like they had too much time.
Yeah. So we got some questions here. First question from Reddit user KLE Bannon. He says
Lebanon.
I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but he says, "Do you think it's possible Yoshihashi is the mole in Chaos?"
I've always believed he's the mole in Chaos.
I
wonder if there even is a mole in Chaos.
Yeah, that's one of those things like Jay White said like months ago, and people are like clinging on to any little thing they like can to keep that like story going. And who knows? Maybe there is still a mole in Chaos, but like that statement like was thrown out so long ago, and like there's been no other hints or developments towards it. I feel like it's just one of those things where like Jay White said just to be a cocky prick heel to piss off the Chaos guys, and then
that's not good storytelling.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if it's what you're supposing, that it's not really something that was booked, that it was kind of like how a lot of the guys will just have leeway with, again, like we talked about, they have leeway sometimes, there's not really a story going, and, he's throwing it out there like, I got a mole in Chaos, and then all the American fans are like, oh my god, this is going to be epic, and then they never follow up on it, and like, Jato's probably like, why'd you say that?
Right. They come back from the camera, and he's like, for real?
I mean, but it is something that they have in their back pocket. If they ever want to go that way, they can always go that way.
Right. I mean, we see this all the time. There's times guys like Kushida are like, "Oh, I'm ready to go heavyweight.
Yeah.
I want to challenge for a heavyweight title." Well, clearly, like there was no plan for that. That's just Kushida saying what he wants, but that's not necessarily the story or the direction.
Yeah, there's been lots of instances where this sort of thing. I remember like Tanahashi saying he was going to challenge for the IWGP title while he was IC champion. Never happened. Stuff like this just happens, I do think that if they are going to go that way, though, it's kind of nice that they didn't do it right away. Because if you remember, when this was all happening, it was right after Jay White had turned, right after Gato had turned, right after Jado had turned. It was like boom, boom, boom. It was all at the same time. And we were, building to the big matches at Wrestle Kingdom between Jay White and Okada. If they had like revealed the mole at that same time, it would have felt like really repetitive. Now things have kind of cooled and kind of simmered, and they do have it in their back pocket. If they want to capitalize on that story, quote unquote, they could. And even though people remember it, a lot of fans probably have forgotten about it too.
Dude, yeah. I haven't even thought about it, and we got this question this week.
I don't think about it at all.
Yeah, it's like, if it happens, cool. If not, whatever.
I mean, I thought it could have been Chucky T, or Yoshihashi, or Roppongi 3K, or Rocky, or Okada, or Goto, or
pretty much any member.
Will Ospreay. I literally was like, it could have been. It literally could be anybody.
Thing, I mean, that could have been it. They were telling a story with that, but
remember, a lot of people thought it was Rocky.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people.
That Khan money came calling best friends are out of there. So,
well, we know they're not loyal. They probably took 2 payoffs. Took a payoff from Jay White, got that money collected, got out of there.
Yeah. Another question from Twitter user 91 Reasons You Lose. He says, "What does Young Boy think of Yoshihashi's Cinderella run through the New Japan Cup so far?"
I don't think of it. I don't think of Yoshihashi. He's a non-factor in my life. Is he having a Cinderella run?
I don't think so.
Who did he beat in the first round? He beat
Nagata. Nagata. I mean, Nakanishi, excuse me.
It's not really a Cinderella run if he beat Nakanishi and then turned around and beat
Chase Owens.
Chase Owens. I was a little surprised, but as we're going to discuss here, he obviously... there's something going on with Chaos in this tournament, so it's not too surprising. But ultimately, if Chase hadn't just beat Juice... 9 times out of 10, you ask me who's going to win in a straight-up one-on-one match, Yoshihashi or Chase Owens. Just given their stances in the company, I'm going to say Yoshihashi. Same thing with him and Nakanishi for the most part.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I wouldn't consider this a Cinderella run.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's out there like beating Naito and Tanahashi and Ibushi.
This is, when I'm watching these matches, it's not like an underdog overcoming the odds to, like, this is not a Hanma storyline.
Right.
You know what it is? It's a guy who benefited from bad, like, bracketing. Like, he got lucky that now if Yoshihashi had gone against Juice in the second round and then beat Juice, then I'd be like, do you believe in miracles? But I wouldn't. I mean, and as far as Yoshihashi's concerned, my feelings towards him are pretty clear. But I think he's been fine. He hasn't done anything wrong. The Nakanishi match was probably the best he could get out of Nakanishi. But right. I enjoyed that match more for Nakanishi.
That plancha?
Dude, planchas. Bro, Lucha Nakanishi is one of my favorite things in the world.
Nakanishi's trying to pick the work rate up out here.
Bro, I was listening to Wrestling Observer. They were talking about the best flying wrestlers in the world. And I was like, where's Nakanishi?
Maybe he can get...
You can talk about your Ospreys. You can talk about your Ricochets. But Nakanishi says, I just flew on your ass. But
yeah, maybe we can get Nakanishi nominated next year.
Bro, we need to get an Air Nakanishi shirt.
Oh my god! I still shout that badly timed like plancha,
like him hitting Air Nakanishi where he's hitting the apron. But I would not call this a Cinderella run because of the way it's been booked. Yoshihashi's been fine. You know, he's had two matches in a row that were not even 3 stars or about 3 stars, and I think his run's about to come to a close. So I really don't call this a Cinderella run.
Yeah. Another question from Reddit user K Lebanon. He says, second question: Bullet Club does not currently have any serious single competitors for the heavyweight division after Jay White. Are they setting up Chase Owens for that role?
No.
Yeah. If they were setting up Chase Owens for that role, they would not have him lose to Yoshihashi. And we love Chase on this show, but right now I don't see him coming anywhere close to being a IWGP champion contender.
I'm just trying to think, and that's a good question. How many stables have serious competitors for the heavyweight division? You know what I mean? Or like, how many stables have that? I mean, you think of, obviously in Suzuki-gun, you got 2 guys that are serious competitors.
Yes, Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr.
Yep, and then you look at the if you look at LIJ, you could say 3, but if you want me to be real honest, right now, today in 2018 or 2019, it's just Naito.
Yeah.
You can say what you want about Sonata and about Evil, but right now I don't see them as serious competition or serious challengers. Who else? I mean,
then Chaos. Okada and Ospreay.
Ishii.
Yeah.
From a skill standpoint, yes, but like from a story standpoint, I mean, not really.
Yeah.
And I don't even really know how serious we should take Ospreay just yet. I mean, but they are clearly.
But he's inching towards.
They're building him.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I guess if you want to talk about like the Sekigun guys, you've got Tanahashi and you've got Ibushi. So yeah, I guess some of the stables do have like multiple guys, but it doesn't always feel like that. And I mean, in the Bullet Club, I mean, outside of like Kenny Omega, who did you have? I guess Cody, but I wouldn't really consider it that way.
Yeah, I mean, he had a title shot, but I mean, yeah.
Has there ever been a time where the Bullet Club, if we're being honest, ever really had serious competitors outside of the leader? I mean,
no. I mean, it's always been the leader. I mean, you had Fergal Devitt when he was kind of trying to jump into heavyweight.
The only thing you could say is like maybe Fale at different times.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe Carl Anderson when you look at some of his G1 runs, but for the most part, really, it was just Prince Devitt. Then it was AJ, and then it was Kenny, and now So I feel like it's right in line with how the Bullet Club has kind of always operated. I don't know, and I'm thinking of like even Chaos. Well, Chaos at one point you did have, Nakamura and Okada in the same stable. So yeah. Good question, but I don't see them building up Chase for that role. I don't really see them building up anybody. I think Jay White is the sole focus of that role and that group.
That faction, yeah.
Yep.
So, main event of Night 5, we had the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii taking on Tai Chi. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so I really did enjoy this match, but I also have a lot of gripes about this match, and I feel like maybe I'm in the minority on that because people tended to be very positive about this match. I mean, I thought that it was an interesting story, the idea that you have Taichi resorting to all these underhanded tactics and just trying his hardest to cheat, and Ishii getting pissed about it and just beating the crap out of him for using such underhanded tactics. It wasn't until really like once we got to the spot with the mic stand and Taichi refused to use that and then decided to go toe-to-toe with him. That was obviously his undoing and the big mistake of the match, but it also made the quality of the match jump up significantly because up to that point, I thought that this match kind of sucked, honestly.
Yeah, I will say the beginning of the match was kind of boring, but then as it went on, it picked up for me, and I thought it ended up being a really great match. This is probably one of the best singles Tai Chi matches that I've seen since I've been watching New Japan. And I really enjoyed it. I thought Ishii did a great job of kind of getting Tai Chi to step up. And, you know, a lot of people are big fans of Tai Chi and want to see him get better chances. And I think this performance would be a great, you know, case for somebody to pull up for Tai Chi getting more chances.
No, taking nothing. I think overall, in a vacuum, the match was great. And, I mean, I rated it pretty hard. I mean, or pretty highly. I think I was at like 3 3/4. I mean, where were you on this?
I was 4 flat.
4? Yeah. Once he decided to go toe to toe with Ishii, I mean the match quality, like you said, it really did pick up and it did show that that Taichi can go. And Taichi still, you know, cheated. He went for the nut shot when and concealed it from the ref, that sort of thing. And there's a few points where you could kind of, you know, see him picking up a win. He's really good at that, like those sneaky pins at the end of the match.
And I think, excuse me, the closing stretch of this match was really good. You had Taichi hits a last ride, which the crowd really bought into as a near fall.
Yeah.
Then Ishii hits a pile driver. Taichi no-sells it, and the fans, you know, you got the dueling chants of "Let's go Taichi, go home Taichi," with the "Let's go Taichi" chants actually kind of beating out the "Go home Taichi" chants. And then 2 big lariats. Taichi goes for gets out of the brainbuster and uses the Gato clutch for a very close near fall. Then Ishii hits a sliding lariat and then follows up with the brainbuster and gets the win.
Couple things. Do you think that, because I feel like there's people who are going to see that and hear that and say to themselves, oh, well, Taichi's really getting over. Not to say he hasn't gotten over to an extent, because I think we've conceded that point on earlier episodes, like where he is today in 2019 is a far cry from 2017.
Right.
But to me, and maybe I'm just wrong in this, and correct me if I'm wrong, this doesn't feel like Taichi's getting over, quote unquote. Like this is a guy that the fans love and that they come, like, I don't think that, and maybe I'm wrong on this, I don't feel like this is them showing up because they came to see Taichi and they're getting behind him because he's in the main event. It's more like that thing to me where, you know how people love to see title changes? Mm-hmm. And so they support the underdog to win. Not that this was a title match, but I feel like that's what started happening. Like the idea that Ishii is this insurmountable like force and this killer, and then you have Taichi kind of going toe-to-toe with him and then gaining that crowd support. Because it didn't seem like, prior to him deciding to go toe-to-toe, it didn't seem like the crowd was behind him at all. It was like they got caught up in the moment almost.
So I will say that...
Or am I wrong on that?
I will say typically in New Japan matches, the crowds do sometimes tend to go towards the underdog, especially if they're going against a Tanahashi, an Okada, an Ishii. They're going to go for... They like to root for the underdog because in their minds they probably know, well, Okada, Tanahashi, Ishii are probably winning. And
right. We saw this with Shota Umino.
Right.
Against Tanahashi.
Right. And some of the other matches, we saw this later on in the tournament. But I will say in other matches that Taichi's been in, you can hear the difference in the "Let's go Taichi" chants over the go. I mean, when we first started watching, it was all "Go home Taichi" chants. Right. And there are "Let's go Taichi" chants. Now, I'm not saying that he's over to the point where you can put Taichi in the main event of the next big tour, and people are like, "Oh, Taichi's the main. I'm going to buy tickets." But he is kind of winning fans over, and to the point where they actually want to see him succeed. I don't. Maybe one day it will get to the point where you can slap him in the main event and people buy tickets for him. But I do think that they do want to see Taichi get more chances.
Well, he's had a string of good matches. The match he had with Will Ospreay at the end of the year last year was a really good match, and then
the Naito series. I mean, they weren't great matches, but it was a step up for him.
Yeah, and then this match, there was a few things I did want to point out. Things I don't like. I heard and saw lots of people praising Taichi when he started doing the Kawada kicks, and I thought that they looked really bad, like awful. That's just a personal pet peeve of mine. I think it's one of those things where if you're gonna do a move that's very recognizable and notable, do it well. Don't do it crappily. And I thought that they looked like shit, honestly. Another thing too is there's some things that with Taichi when he's doing the strikes and he's slapping his thigh, it's Cassius Ohno levels of bad. It's so freaking obvious. And then his bumping, this is a guy who doesn't like to bump. He doesn't like to bump, and when he's in a physical match with a guy like Ishii, he struggles to keep up with the bump meter that you see in New Japan. And taking nothing away from him, because again, this is a great performance. But I think there's a reason we don't see this kind of performance out of Taichi on a regular basis. And I'll just say this. I have gone to bat for Taichi many, many times in the past and been like, well, he doesn't deliver all the time, but when he does, he really does. And, he had that match with Tanahashi, he had that match with Naito, and he had and I've done all that. But there's people who are getting behind him now and being like, how is he not in the G1 after this? And I'm like, keep him away from the G1, because this is something you get once or twice a year from this guy. He's never going to do this consistently.
Right.
For a
he
tour.
He has to be in there with an opponent that's going to make him wrestle. Ishii wasn't playing any games.
I don't even know if anyone can make him. I don't think Ishii can make him do this. I think he has to be motivated to want to do it. The guy, if it was a factor where it's when he doesn't deliver, it's just fine, kind of like Yoshihashi. But that's not what happens. When he doesn't deliver, he really doesn't deliver.
It's horrible.
And more often than not, he really doesn't deliver. Then every once in a while, he will step up and have a decent match. I know people like the gimmick. I know people, it's kind of like that niche kind of counterculture thing to like Taichi. And I get it. But I'm tired of anticipating good matches and then getting that Goto series freaking killed me.
Yeah.
After that Goto series, those matches should have been good and they weren't, and so I'm kind of done with that whole thing.
Yeah, the Goto series was pretty rough, but I mean, overall, if he put out performances like this every time he's in the ring, I would be like, yeah, get him in the G1. But
I just feel like it's Ishii, and Ishii can do no wrong.
Yeah.
When's the last time Ishii had a bad match and a bad singles match with anybody?
Exactly.
He brutalizes everybody. That's just what happens. And this stuff that we saw from Taichi was the same kind of smoke and mirror stuff we saw with him and Naito and him with Tanahashi, and I buy into it when it happens, but I ain't buying into it anymore. Yeah. I think a lot of people are starting to get into the Taichi lull and being like, oh, he's better than he actually is. Nope. Right. I'm not buying it. I'm not biting anymore. I'm done.
But I will say, I know we're kind
and it was a good match.
Yeah, this was, like I said, it gave us 4 stars. One of the best Taichi matches I've ever seen. I was at the end of it. I was pleasantly surprised.
I thought it was as good as all the other matches he's had.
Yeah,
I would put it in the same league as the Naito match from last year, the Tanahashi match from last year, and the Ospreay match.
Yeah, I mean, especially after watching the Yoshi Chase match, this was a great way to end the show.
It was way better. Yeah, it was definitely the match to close the show. So going into the next round, and we'll talk about it in a bit, but it's interesting. We have Yoshihashi going against Ishii, members of Chaos.
Yeah. So that brings us to now we're on to night 6. And speaking of Chaos, we have Chaos member Will Ospreay, the Assassin, the never openweight champion, taking on the American Psycho Lance Archer.
Really good match.
Yeah.
I was like so surprised at how good this match was.
Dude, I've been watching Lance Archer since the TNA days when he was Lance Hoyt and he was teaming up with Kid Cash.
Wasn't he in WWE too?
Yeah, he was Vance Archer.
He was Vance Archer.
Wrestling on Velocity. So yeah, I've seen pretty much most of Lance Archer's career and honestly never been too impressed with him. I mean, he's just been kind of a alright big guy. Yeah.
I've always kind of been impressed with him from a physical standpoint. And from an athletic standpoint. But from a dynamic wrestler, storyteller, not really. But that's not the kind of matches he has, you know what I mean?
Right.
This was kind of a departure from that.
Yeah, dude, this is probably, I have to say, this is probably the best Lance Archer match I've ever seen. And again, I mean, it's with Will Ospreay, and dude, this was just like an incredible big man, little man matchup here.
You know what, bro? You know what Will Ospreay's starting to give me? AJ Styles vibes.
Oh.
Like, you know how, like, there was a time, and maybe it's still true, I don't know. It's been a while since we've seen him matched up with the big guy, but you remember, like, when there was a time when it was, like...
AJ versus Abyss.
AJ against any big guy.
Yeah.
Abyss. Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Like, all these guys.
Kevin Nash. Even Nash.
Yeah. Yep. Kevin Nash. There was a bunch of them where it was, like, you want to get a big guy over, you put him in there with AJ Styles, and they're going to have a banger. And, Will Ospreay is like kind of giving me those vibes. Like the way he keeps pulling like passable match, great match, passable match. Like he's pulling these really good matches out of like limited big guy workers. It's like, yo, he's the modern day Sting. He's the modern day AJ Styles. Like I love it.
Yeah, man. This match had a lot of cool spots. There's a spot where Ospreay hits the Spanish Fly on Lance Archer.
When I saw that, I knew what they were going for. I saw the determination and look in Lance Archer's eyes, and he was like, "I'm freaking flipping on this motherfucker!" like he hit it so hard, bro.
Yeah, dude, it was sick. And then Will's chest getting busted open from chops from Archer. Then there was an insane sequence where Ospreay avoids the pounce by flipping over and diving over Archer.
That was awesome. Yeah, it's like he's starting to do that as a signature in a lot of matches, like the same way he did with Ibushi at or not even really just at Wrestle Kingdom, but during that tag match at the road to Wrestle Kingdom when he got Frankensteinered by Ibushi and he landed on his feet.
Yeah,
he's like starting. If you're noticing, he's doing stuff like that in every couple like matches now. A guy tries to go for a signature and he flips out of it and shows his athleticism, and I'm like, oh my god, this dude's incredible.
Yeah, and then eventually Archer was able to get the pounce. He countered the Oz Cutter into the pounce, which sent Ospreay flying out the ring. And yeah,
Ospreay's insane, bro.
Yeah, there's so many awesome counters and spots in this match. The big moment was Ospreay kicking out of Lance Archer's finish, the blackout. That's a move that's been protected in New Japan.
I was thinking, I don't know that anybody's ever kicked out of it that I know of. I'm sure maybe. So hey, if you remember, hit us up and point it out, send us a GIF, whatever. But I don't remember it any time.
Yeah, usually if Archer hits that blackout, it's over. Like,
bro, he was ragdolling Ospreay, bro. The choke slam that he landed on.
Oh my gosh, yes, dude. He got that man up so high and just drilled him down.
I also liked how Will kept trying to go for the Stormbreaker, and even though like he couldn't actually do it because of the size differential, like this guy was gonna be undeterred, and like he's just so freaking. He's like gutsy. Like this was a really good story.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and it comes down towards the end where they're on the top rope, and then Ospreay's able to use Archer being on the top rope to get him up for the Stormbreaker.
Well, he hit the hidden blade.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was real surprising. They were up there, he hit the hidden blade, and then kind of flipped over him and used the leverage being, that the guy was on the top rope.
Yeah, he hit him with the Chicky Nandos.
Yeah, that's right.
And then from there, he was able to get him on his shoulders and get him to Stormbreaker.
Yeah, that was real innovative, really, really interesting. I went the same on this as I went on the last main event. I was 3 3/4 on it.
I was once again 4 flat.
Where, just for comparison standpoint, because these are two very different style matches. but I thought that they're pretty equal.
Mm-hmm.
Which match did you prefer? Because I feel like I'm hearing a lot more people talk positively about the Ishii Taichi match, and I'm not hearing as much about this match for whatever reason.
Personally, I think I like the Archer Ospreay match a little bit better. I'm actually been debating whether I should bump it up a quarter star or not. Because after watching that, like initially I was 4, but then it's like thinking back to like other matches I've given 4s to, I'm like, I really did like that match a little bit better, and I just thought that both guys came out there and had their working boots on.
Yeah.
And Ospreay looked great, and Archer, it wasn't just like the whole Ospreay. I mean, yes, Ospreay's selling and athleticism and crazy flips and dives, helped this match definitely, but I thought Archer did a really good job being the monster heel big guy, and he was doing some athletic stuff too.
It's really great too how, I'm sure there's everyone knows how good Will Ospreay is, but a lot of these heavyweight workers who maybe haven't worked with him or haven't worked with him in Japan are probably starting to, I'm sure he's getting a reputation where it's like, this guy's given us a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like Will's going out there eating guys up and, outshining them, outclassing them. Like, he's not pulling a Sean 96 sort of deal. Like, he's going out there and he's having very competitive matches, and he's making these big guys look freaking great.
Yeah, dude, this is the best I've seen Lance Archer look in a ring.
If I'm a big guy, if I'm like any big guy in New Japan, like, I want to work with Will Ospreay because he's going to make me look like $1 million.
Yeah, I'm like, Gato, sign me up, man. Let me work a program with this guy.
But, really, really, really good match. I enjoyed it. I think bell to bell, even though I think they told different stories and I enjoyed both matches, I think bell to bell I liked this match probably just for the innovative like spots and how energetic the match was.
Yeah.
And kind of unexpected. So, I very, very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. So then next up we have, the main event of the evening with 2 Chaos members going head-to-head. Mad Mikey Nichols versus the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada.
So here we see the best wrestler in the world wrestle a Largo Looper.
Yeah. Dude. I was not impressed with this matchup whatsoever. It literally did feel like Okada was wrestling a Largo Loop guy. Like this, you could have thrown in Kona Reeves, you could have thrown in Babatunde, Riddick Moss, Tito Sabatelli. Like, this match was...
So you mean all that time in the PC didn't teach this man how to work?
No.
Oh, that's what we hear that all the time, though.
Dude, this match was a PC special. Like, this could have been the main event of a Minrig Hall show on a night where all the top guys are.
I like Mikey Nichols' dedication to the headlock. He's just grinding away. This man came in with a strategy and he performed it to excellence. He executed it excellently. Here's what I'll say about Mikey Nichols, and I think we should keep it short and sweet because I don't think there's much to say here. He's completely competent, but at no point did I think that this was dynamic in any way.
Yeah.
He might, be able to. He's not foreign to Japan. He's wrestled Japan for a long
right,
time.
Yeah, he's a wrestler in Noah, and he's been in New Japan before.
But this guy's like many levels beneath Okada, and this was a big opportunity for him to kind of showcase who he is, what he was capable of, and this was extremely forgettable.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is super underwhelming.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's like this is why you're a tag team guy.
Bringing down the average. Out here.
Yeah, you want to talk about dudes bringing down the average.
Bringing down the
Mikey
average.
Nichols is bringing down the average.
Last year, anytime Kenny Omega would wrestle Cody, good friend of the show, Rich Latta, he'd get pissed and he'd be like, "Man, this man's affecting Kenny's star ratings. This man's bringing down the average."
Yeah, well, Mikey Nichols definitely brought down Okada's average this night.
Oh my God, it's yeah. And that's unfortunate because wrestling is all about star ratings. So of course. But he did nothing wrong, but nothing he did stood out either.
Yeah, it's just fine.
It was fine. I mean, it was a TV match.
Yeah,
and that's not a good one either.
Yeah.
there was also a lot of moments where you kind of felt like maybe he would capitalize on some. It felt like Okada was giving him a lot, and you feel like he'd capitalize on moments, and it was like a lot of like near misses. Just things didn't click well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Okada hits the Rainmaker and wins 1-2-3.
Yeah. So that puts Ospreay versus Okada in the next round, the Chaos versus Chaos match.
So on the A side of things, just to put it in perspective, we have Yoshihashi taking on Ishii, and then we have Okada taking on Will Ospreay. So that means we have 4 members. It's all Chaos on that side of the brackets.
Yeah.
In addition to that, previously, Okada, he just defeated Mikey Nichols. So, and I think in the first round he beat, Elgin?
Yep.
So he's going to go from Mikey Nichols to Will Ospreay. Provided he beats Will Ospreay, he's going to end up in a semifinal against either Ishii or Yoshihashi. So it's an all-chaos affair. Very, 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 very interesting because we've had a lot of speculation about the state of, chaos in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, with the whole, we've been seeing this whole thing with Chaos teaming up with Sucky Gun guys on the home team, and everybody's kind of against the Bullet Club kind of thing. Everybody's stopping Jay White, and now that they're all kind of battling each other here in this tournament, yeah, it's very interesting. I'm not sure what to make of it.
Do you think that this is something that is planting the seeds for a split and a breakup when it comes to, I know we don't always do speculation but I think it's pertinent here.
Yeah.
Do you think with this storyline that we are seeing some sort of potential split and maybe the dissolution of Chaos? Or is this something where we've talked about the rebuilding Okada and him regaining his status, and do you feel like maybe him going through the brackets and beating all his stablemates is him regaining their respect and regaining his stature and strengthening Chaos and maybe like bring it back together? Or is this like this is basically the fallout of Jay White?
And I believe the 10-year anniversary of Chaos is coming up soon. But I really do like that explanation you gave of Okada trying to get respect back by beating all these guys, because I'm sure there had to be some doubt in a guy like Ishii and Goto's mind with Okada losing big matches, lost to Jay White at the Dome, and why should we be following this guy if we can outperform him right now?
Chaos has always been a group that was based on strength.
Right.
And if you're going to be the leader of that group, I mean, Jay White talked about it extensively last year about, Okada, not being as strong as he was, kind of sowing doubt, that sort of thing. He's not the real leader. He's not a strong enough leader. I do wonder if that's what's happening here. I also wonder if this is literally them starting to splinter, or maybe it's the idea that Okada is through this course is hypothetically trying to regain their devotion, or however you want to put it, but maybe it's causing resentment, maybe it's causing a turnover. I don't know. Because hypothetically, if he wins this whole tournament, then he's going to not only go through an entire bracket of Chaos members, but then in turn, he's going to be challenging for the IWGP title. What happens if he beats all his own guys, but then loses again to Jay White? It's a very compelling and interesting storyline.
Yeah, and I mean, in the 6-man tag with Chaos versus Chaos, I mean, things were getting, they were in each other's faces, really wanted to, beat each other. So.
Yeah, you were mentioning the stuff with Goto,
Yeah, then at the end in the matches, you would have Okada and Ospreay facing off, and Ospreay up in Okada's face, I'm going to beat you.
Yeah, and with Ospreay kind of rising up at the same time too, it makes you wonder how long can these two guys coexist together at this point? Because Will's not that Super Junior anymore.
Right.
He's coming for the gold.
I want the gold.
I want the gold.
Where the gold at? So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with the storytelling on that.
Are you leaning one way or the other? How you think it's going?
I think I'm leaning more towards him trying to get the respect of those guys, because I feel like, they just added Mikey Nichols to Chaos.
I told you that's them jumping the shark, though.
And they did mention, that the 10-year anniversary of Chaos is coming up. So I don't think that they're going to break the group up just yet.
Huh, interesting. I'm kind of feeling like I've felt for a while like we're leading to a dissolution of this group. And whether it's tumultuous or whether it's amicable is hard to say. But with them kind of like, merging everything with all the Sekigun guys, it kind of starts to reshift a lot of those loyalties and those lines, and I think we've been seeing that. And I think that regardless of what happens, that's where this is heading. I think that this is not strengthening Chaos. I think it's going to cause a split of some sorts.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I could see it going anyway, but I don't know. I'm just leaning towards them not really breaking up Chaos. So that brings us to night 7 of the New Japan Cup. We had the first tournament match this night was Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Ryusuke Taguchi. Throughout the multi-man matches building up this match, Taguchi has been very aggressive with Tanahashi, getting him in the ankle lock, post-match jumping in from behind to get him in the ankle lock. So Taguchi, trying to step up here.
Did you like what Chris Charlton said? He said it was the ace versus the farce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting here. I like when Tanahashi kind of plays like his dickish persona a little bit.
Yeah.
And he was playing that up a bit here. Real interesting. We kind of talked about Yoshihashi kind of having an easy path. I don't know that anybody's had as easy a path as Yoshihashi other than Tanahashi. I mean, he went through a young boy. Now he's going through a junior.
Yeah.
It's just like, in college basketball, they do the seedings, and the number 1 seeds go up against like number 16.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this feels like. It feels like this guy got seeded real high, and he's going up against some really low ranked teams, getting some easy rounds. But with that being said, you're right. Taguchi did a really great job attacking the ankle. He was relentless with the ankle locks and stuff like that. But Tanahashi kind of was ruthless in this match.
Yeah, I mean, we got Dark Ace. He had the black tights on. And here's one of those situations where the crowd was chanting for the underdog. The crowd was firmly behind Taguchi majority of the matchup. And, Tanahashi was leaning into that, kind of being a dickish heel, being a little bit more aggressive than he typically is.
Well, it's just like, and I like when Tanahashi's aggressive like that. Taguchi's in there doing his comedy stuff, having a laugh, telling jokes, and Tanahashi's like, nope, give me your leg. Dragon screw. I'm like, oh my God.
Come here. Shote,
yeah. So, one thing with this match, though, for me, I thought it was a fine match. I thought it was enjoyable, but the crowd, they were in Corkin on this night.
Yeah.
The Corkin crowd was eating up the near falls with Taguchi, and I just never did. And I'm someone who usually does bite on near falls when other people don't.
Yeah.
But when it came to this match, it's like, there's literally no chance. That's what you got. Do-do. I don't know what they say after that. Something, Shane too small. Crazy politicians. Yeah, but Taguchi was never going to get the fall. He did block that sunset flip, and it was like a really close near fall, and people were buying into it.
Dude, they were losing their minds.
Yeah, and they thought we were going to see a big upset. And I get it. It's the New Japan Cup. There are upsets, but come on, guys. Taguchi is not beating Tanahashi ever. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I thought it was fine, but I wasn't as into it as the crowd was. But if you told me that you were really into it, I wouldn't be surprised because they had a good match. I did like that Tanahashi beat him with the Dragon Suplex, though.
Yeah. That kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was nice. And it kind of shows you, kind of establishes, I don't have to bust out a high fly flow for a guy like Taguchi.
Tanahashi should maybe stop busting out high fly flows in general. His knees, my God. I was listening to another podcast. I think, I don't remember which one. It was something on Social Suplex. I think it was NXT Then, Now, and Forever. They're talking about unathletic wrestlers.
Oh, it was on One Nation Radio.
It was on One Nation Radio.
Yeah, this past week, yeah.
James Boyd was talking about Tanahashi. He's like, my God, spray some AWD-40 on them knees. I can hear him squeaking through the TV screen. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Tanahashi defeated Shota Umino with the Texas Cloverleaf, and then he defeated Taguchi with the Dragon Suplex. So he hasn't busted out a high five flow since the Jay White match.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a fun match.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was good.
Yeah. So now
3 1/4.
Yeah. Here's where my bracket started.
See what had happened was
my bracket started. Everything was good up until this point, and here comes the nosedive. The beginning of the nosedive for my bracket. So we had Zack Sabre Jr. against Kota Ibushi. These men, no strangers to each other. They faced each other in New Japan Cup before. They faced each other in G1 Climax. These guys are very familiar with each other. And man, I just thought with Ibushi re-signing the contract, they were going to go a little bit further with him in the tournament. But then, like you said last week, when you started talking to me about Zack Sabre winning, and I'm just like, crap, like, yeah, it makes total sense. You have the previous New Japan Cup winner make a run in this thing, and you know what? I feel like a lot of people, when they're doing their brackets, they just, I feel like the predominant thought was Ibushi just resigned, he just returned. This is a guy who's favored. A lot of people were like, I could see him winning the whole tournament. We had a lot of brackets that way. I think the other thing, too, is people were like, well, Zach beat him last year. There's no way that that Gato would have him go over him again. Oh, man. So, yeah, man. Sabre beat this guy. Tapped him out with the Napalm Death.
The orienteering Napalm Death, yes.
I gotta say though, this match was a little bit disappointing for me. I would say this is out of all the matches they've had, this is the worst Sabre Ibushi match I've seen. With that being said, I went 4 stars flat on it, but I was expecting.
I was 4 1/4.
Okay,
a little higher than that.
I was expecting more from these guys.
With that being said, this was the best match of the second round, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Well...
Did you like that Archer and Ospreay match better than this?
Yeah.
See, I didn't.
I mean, I rated them both 4 stars.
No, that's totally understandable. But it's interesting how, like, we can look at these two guys and we talk about them having a 4-star match and being like, it's a little disappointing. And then some other guys, like, have, like, a 3.5. We're like, wow, that was really something. So we grade on a curve with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was excellent. I thought it was a fine match. I agree with you. I think that this was the weakest of all the matches that these guys have had. I think they've had I don't know how many matches they've had now. 3. This is their 4th match.
I believe so. Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say that this is closest in quality to maybe their first G1 match they had a couple years ago. I rated them about almost the same, except for that. I feel like that one was the G1 match they had in 2017 was a little bit better, just because it told I liked the story that it told, but this was good, man. Zach made Ibushi wrestle his match is what happened here.
Yeah, this was a total Zach match. There wasn't a lot of flipping or diving or any, big high spots from Ibushi.
Ibushi doesn't really do high spots and stuff like that. He gets dragged into Zach's game almost every time, but what has helped him to overcome in the matches that he has won usually is his striking game.
Yeah, usually he will outstrike Sabre and he's a little bit stronger than Sabre, and so he's just able to hit him with the right strike to get him where he wants to.
That's the other thing too, is him powering out of some of the moves when he's able to reserve his strength, and when it comes to closing stretch, he'll find interesting and creative ways to to kind of deflect some of these submissions. But man, the first time they wrestled, it felt like pretty even footing between these two guys. Mm-hmm. And then last year, when they were in this tournament, Zach just ate Ibushi alive. I mean, that was the best one of the best matches of the tournament.
Yeah.
I thought it was better than this match, but yeah, he ate him alive, and then they had that banger, that absolute banger in the G1 last year. And I feel like it's just so interesting. Zach just kind of learns from each prior experience, and it's like, yeah, he's got this guy. It's almost like he's starting to have. He didn't always have this guy's number, but he does kind of.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like Zach's still a puzzle that Ibushi hasn't completely solved or figured out.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, you can story-wise, you could say that Ibushi was kind of weakened from the Naito match.
That's a good. That's a great call. Yeah.
I mean, those guys literally killed each other, and then plus, Ibushi's still been wrestling in multi-man matches, and so not having the proper time to fully recover.
What did you think about that Kamigoye dodge when he dodged it at the end of the match?
Dude, I was like, when he was like this close, like hitting, I was like, yes, and then he moved out the way. Oh man.
Yeah, I for a few days now, after we started kind of contemplating it on the show last week, I thought to myself, I think Zach's going to go to the finals. I really do. I think that makes the most sense. With him winning the tournament last year, him making a name for himself, facing all the same competition that he did the year before, and then in the finals, getting a chance to face the man that he failed to defeat for the IWGP title just 1 year ago. I think it's a perfectly told story. It sounds just like a Gato.
Yeah, it totally does. Like now it's been laid out. I'm like, I'm an idiot. Like how did I not?
I think everybody who's doing their brackets.
I was blinded by Ibushi.
Yeah. I think everyone who's doing their brackets and is seeing this now is feeling it's like deja vu. It's like not again.
Right. Well, not everybody. There are a few brackets that were submitted that have Okada Sabre in the finals.
Well, aren't you guys just geniuses?
Those guys, they saw the vision. But yeah, man, I was blinded by the Golden Star and
Golden Star.
But really, it's Zack Sabre time.
Yeah, didn't you listen to the stuff Taka said? He's a submission master. He's a pro wrestling master, bro.
Yeah. So couple questions here. Our boy Muzza, first of all, he says, Mr. Jeremy Donovan got screwed in the Ricky and Clive quiz invitational. There's no changing of my mind. Thanks for the support, Muzza.
Muzza, why don't you come on the show? We'll do some trivia. We'll see who gets screwed by who.
Hey, go back and listen to the quiz, guys. And
you guys can listen to the quiz, but I definitely won fair and square. Like
I don't know, there's some questionable calls there, but we'll see. Ricky and Clive.
I feel like you should have remembered who won the G1s.
Ricky and Clive. I get how they're booking. They want they're trying to get another babyface over, so they had to put you over a top babyface, and then they're gonna get you over to the finals with another top babyface and get that guy over.
There's no booking, bro. This was a shoot.
Nah, this was a work. Ricky's always talking about how things are a work, right? That quiz was a work.
That quiz was not a work. It's one of the greatest achievements of my life. I never win anything, so I'm enormously proud of what I did on that evening.
Oh man, but all jokes aside, it was a fun quiz, guys. You should check it out on the archives, the Ricky and Clive wrestling show. But his actual question was, who has so far busted you guys at New Japan Cup brackets? ZSJ has busted mine, beating Ibushi. Yeah, Sabre, I mean, is the main guy here. That's
I didn't really do a bracket this year, but some of the matches that I did not call correctly that I was surprised about, believe it or not, I really thought Fale was gonna beat Will Ospreay. Like that was a big one for me. I don't want to sit here and say I've gotten everything right because, like I said, I didn't do any brackets, but that's the one match that really I was surprised about so far. Everything else been pretty. Oh, you know what? The other one, Chase beating Juice. I didn't expect that. Those were like the two really big ones for me.
Yeah.
On the other side of things, everything's kind of played out the way I guess expected it to.
Yeah.
But I could see why a lot of people thought Ibushi was going to win. I think Zach beating
Ibushi was a big bracket buster.
Yeah.
And then when we go on to night 8, I mean, 2 more bullets were shot right through my bracket. But before we get to that, we have one more question from Reddit user Zach Time. And he says, what is your favorite ZSJ finisher? I will list them all out because there's too many. The Zack Driver, Article 50, which is the cross arm breaker, Orienteering with Napalm Death. He says, I didn't even remember what this is. The Gym Break Special, which is the omoplata wrist lock combination. The Hyper Normalization, which is the double wrist clutch octopus hold. The Young Boy Killer, which is the double leg trap chicken wing inverted face lock. The Hurrah, another year, surely this one will be better than the last. The Inexorable March of Progress will lead us all to happiness. There's the European Clutch, the double pump handle arm wringer into a bridging inverted jackknife pin. Or the Cremation Lily, which is the double omoplata figure 4 stump puller combination.
Dude, I think my favorite move of his is probably listed there, but I think I was calling it something completely different than what. What's your favorite Zack move?
Honestly, it's the Zack Driver.
I like the Zack Driver.
Just because he doesn't use it all the time, but when he hits it, it comes out of nowhere, and it's so devastating and puts the opponent away. It's like his only like really big impact move. So I'm a big fan of the Zack Driver. If I had to pick a submission, I
think you like the orienteering, don't you?
That one, I like the orienteering, but I also like the Cremation Lily, the stump puller that he did on Juice Robinson.
Oh yeah, that one's nasty.
That one's like, you're screwed. Like, you're not getting out of that. If he gets you to that in the middle of the ring, like, you're done.
Okay. There's a move that he did that he was using in Progress. We're right on the air. He beat Pete. Yeah, Pete Dunne. No, I'm sorry. Is Pete Dunne the big strong boy?
No, Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bate, that's right. The move that he beat Tyler Bate with in their match in Progress was like just an incredible move. I was calling it the Impossible Lock. This is what it looks like.
Okay, yeah, that.
And no one gets out of this thing. But I don't know if it's listed there or not. So
I think that's because that's a double leg trap chicken wing, right?
I wouldn't call that.
No, or
I don't know what he calls this, literally. I guess it's the hyper normalization. Is that one of the names?
Yeah, double wrist clutch octopus hold.
Is that the hyper normalization?
Yeah.
That's my favorite move of his. I didn't know that that's what he called it. I thought it was called the Impossible Lock. That move's just freaking incredible, and it's one of those things where once you're in it, you're not getting out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's my favorite move of his, but we don't really see it, and we haven't seen it in New Japan like at all. I don't think at all.
No, yeah.
Well, maybe at a certain point, but
it's not a memorable match.
No.
All right, so let's move on to the final night of round 2, night 8, the night that continued to kill my bracket. We had the comedy all-star match between Boom Boom Colt Cabana and Toru Yano. So, are you a fan of the Yano Cabana matches? Their style.
No. But I don't have a problem with it either. Like, I'm not going to come on the air and bury it. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people don't like it. From what I understand, a lot of people on Twitter were talking crap or whatever, and some people love it, I suppose. I kind of got a kick out of it, but me getting a kick out of it was mostly because I just imagined that you liked this match a lot.
I mean, I was laughing. I enjoy. Here's the thing.
I know what you like, and I imagined you and Rich watching it as if like the parts I knew that you guys would laugh at is the stuff that I laughed at, but it wasn't because I was popping, it was because I knew that it's stuff that would pop you guys.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, I didn't have a problem with it. It's just, this wasn't my favorite thing. Like, to me, I only really get into Yano's comedy matches during the G1. I have a special reserved spot in my heart for Yano's G1 runs, and then that's about it.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. I mean, honestly, for my match quality, I mean, it wasn't like any kind of craziness. But I mean,
it depends on your criteria.
Right. But here's the thing: people got mad about this match, but going into this match, you already know what it is with Toru Yano.
Yeah.
You already know what it is with Colt Cabana, especially at this part of his career. Both of these guys, they are experts in the comedy style of match, and as soon as you saw that they were paired together, you should have known what you were expecting. You know it's going to be... You don't expect them to start shooting and like do some kind of crazy 5-star match. You know that they're going to do this kind of comedy match.
There's some really egregious things that happen in pro wrestling today. I mean, we could talk about the Priscilla Kellys of the world. We could talk about the Joey Ryan's dick flips. You know, Izzy out here wrestling grown men. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot, and just look at some of the stuff that happens in DDT. This is far from the most egregious thing that could be going on in your pro wrestling. And I think everyone kind of knew what this was. Obviously, if you're going to have Yano and Cabana wrestle, this is what you expect and want out of it. They would probably be doing a disservice if they didn't do this.
Yeah.
You know, I would have rather had Makabe and Davey Boy Smith Jr. personally, because that would be a much better match. But they wanted to do the comedy dream match. This stuff was funny. You know, Colt was just kind of out there. I did like the idea of the story of Colt outsmarting Yano all the time.
Yeah.
That's something that you don't see a lot. It's kind of funny. Like when he taped up the ring posts.
Yeah, keep the pad on.
He kept the pads on by taping them up, which was funny. And then when he threw the DVD into the crowd. So.
Oh yeah, Yano was
pissed. It was fine.
Yeah, then they had the whole, throwing the pad back and forth and throwing it to Red Shoes, that whole thing.
It was funny.
Yeah. But eventually Cabana blocks a low blow, and then he counters into the Superman pin for the win. Colt Cabana has advanced again in the New Japan Cup.
How about when he was shelled up like he was Steve Gray and Yano was like, I don't know what to do.
Oh my god.
That was really funny.
But yeah, man, Colt Cabana. I would have never have guessed Cabana making it this, like, advancing again into the New Japan Cup.
Why? He's a former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Why do you doubt this man?
Because it's Colt Cabana.
He's MJF's dad.
One half of the Second City Saints.
It's one of the greatest tag teams of all time. The Second City Saints are great, bro. They have a bond that will never be broken.
Don't get me wrong. I love Colt Cabana.
It doesn't matter what happens to them. They can go through anything. They're always going to be friends.
Yeah, we'll see what those lawsuits say about that. But yeah, dude, I don't remember. I love Cabana. I think he's cool. I've always enjoyed him watching Ring of Honor over the years. But at this part of his career, like, I would not have expected him to get this far.
The Cinderella run of the tournament.
Yeah, this is a real. Yeah, you think about Yoshihashi. Colt Cabana is a Cinderella run here.
Oh man.
But yeah, man.
I mean, it's fine. Like it's whatever. Like this is what this is what Gato want to do. It's
not fine. It's ruining my bracket. Gato and his games are messing up my bracket.
I'm not surprised he beat Yano. I'm surprised he beat Makabe. But if he beats Makabe, then I think he should beat Yano.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. So then the main event of Night 8 was the Cold Skull Sonata against the King, Minoru Suzuki.
Yo, when are they going to tell this man to cut that freaking beard, bro?
Dude, it's. I mean, I'm not any kind of fashionista or anything, but it's not it, Chief.
It's not it, Chief. Like literally, I don't know how they would say it, like in Japanese, but I want him to like come into like the LIJ like locker room and like Naito be like, Chief.
Shingo just looks at him, shaking his head.
Yeah, bro.
Chief, what are you doing?
Yo, get rid of that fuck shit off your... This man's trying to get under, bro. You know, LIJ's over. This man's trying to get under, like, literally. Oh, my God. But, I mean, what'd you think of this match? I mean, this is a rematch of something we just saw on the previous tour.
Yeah.
And so...
Honestly, I was a little bit underwhelmed with this match.
I'd agree.
I was expecting a little bit. I think I liked the previous match better.
I did too.
Yeah. And pretty soon, I think we're going to need to have a dialogue about Sonata.
Let's start a dialogue.
Yes. Because everybody loves Sonata.
Do they?
From what I see, people love Sonata, and people were excited that Sonata won this match and that he's moving on and all the athletic stuff he can do. But we're starting to see time after time where Sonata's in these big matches and these big main events, he doesn't completely deliver.
Well, you're right, but let's also say this: he always does deliver. He just doesn't always completely deliver, like you just said. Like there's a ceiling for Sonata. Like
right.
There's some sort of weird. It's like a mental block.
Yeah,
or something.
I guess what I'm trying. So people kind of view him as a guy that should be on the rise, like as an IWGP champion. But his main events don't always output what an IWGP champion should.
For me, like when he beat Tanahashi in the G1, in like it was his first night, his first G1, like 2016, 2015. I was like, oh my god, they're making this man's gonna be a freaking star. And it's like 3 or 4 years later.
He's in the same spot.
And a lot of G1 main events later, a title challenge later. And yeah, he is kind of in the same spot. Now, that's not to say... Bro, I really loved his title challenge against
Okada
last year.
Don't get me wrong, there are some matches like that Okada match, and a lot of times some of the LIJ tag team title matches where he comes through, he delivers. And
even some of his singles matches, like he had a really good match against Zack Sabre last year.
Yes, that Sabre match was very good.
His matches with Ibushi and Kenny Omega were both really good. Mm-hmm. But they don't leave you feeling like this man has transcended.
Right.
That's the thing. You never
kind of feel like the guys that he's in there with, kind of Omega and Ibushi, Tanahashi, it's because of them why the match kind of reached the next level.
Sonata comes off as a utility guy.
Yeah.
Is what ends up happening. He doesn't come off as a star.
Yeah.
That's, he comes off more like a star when he does those hot tags and those tag matches, and you're like, wow, this guy's incredible. But then he has these singles matches, and he's really good. But, I don't know. There's almost like I hate to say this, but like a Ziggler sort of deal.
Yeah.
Kind of comes off like a utility guy.
Yeah.
And there's no reason he shouldn't. And it does seem to be like a lack of motivation, like a laziness. Like he's got all the tools, as they say.
Yeah.
But in this match, I feel like we saw that. And bro, I think Suzuki really likes Sonata because he gives him a lot.
Yeah.
Like, sells for him in a way that he really doesn't sell for a lot of guys. He was willing to sell for him, trade with him. They did a lot of fast-paced spots, and you could tell that like Suzuki trusts him because Suzuki's allowing him to do a lot of spots that have the potential to be screwed up. Sonata's competent in all those ways. Like, Sonata's not going to F up and mess up, Suzuki or whatever.
Right.
I thought Suzuki looked great in this match, man. I mean, he was just as fast or faster
than
Sonata.
And it's brutal with the strikes and submissions, working that sleeper hold, working the leg, the knee bar.
Yep. There's some stuff. Sonata did that moonsault into a Skull's End, which was really...
Oh, yeah, that was kind of cool.
Straight up AJ Styles. Good submissions and reversals. Again, we gotta say it. I know we say it all the time, but Sonata's Skull End looked really, really bad in this match.
Yeah,
this is like one of the, especially bro. You're wrestling Minoru Suzuki. He's a former king of pancakes, bro. He's a founding father of MMA.
Lock that thing in, man.
Yeah, lock it up.
And I wasn't a huge fan of the whole spot where they were like trading the knee bar and Skull End. I liked it at first. But I felt like they did it too much.
Yeah. Oh, that was some Pancrase stuff there. It was like a callback to some Pancrase stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, it started off cool. It was kind of cool, and then they kept doing it. I was like, all right,
yeah,
I get it. You guys can both reverse. Like, come on, like, do something different now.
my problem with it was like Suzuki found a way out of the skull end, but then like moments later, Sonata hit a moonsault, which and got the win, and that didn't really make sense to me because the whole match Suzuki was working over the legs. This man like just pops up, hits a freaking moonsault, and that's it. It's like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And, you know, Sonata's working the skull end the whole match. You would think eventually that would be the finish.
No, not against Suzuki. Like, that's not going to be the finish against Suzuki. And I have no problem with him winning by moonsault. It makes sense to me, but my problem with it is you did a whole match based on mat work, based on, you know, leg work, and then you pop up, you hit a high spot, and it's 1, 2, 3. I didn't like the finish, to be honest with you. So it's interesting, but people seem to be very excited for Sonata going into the next round, and you know, he's got Cabana, and I don't think Cabana's gonna beat him. So
yeah. So question here from Reddit user Jai Bryan. He says, "How surprised are you guys going to be when Sonata wins the New Japan Cup?"
I've thought he's a dark horse candidate to win it, but I don't think he's gonna win it.
Right. I mean, he's
not gonna win it. Actually, I'm just gonna tell you right now, like, he's not gonna win it,
dude. With the implications of the Madison Square Garden main event on the line, like Sonata versus Jay White is not it. Like that would be
Chief.
Yeah, that would be a big mistake,
bro. Like, I want to be like, yo, if he headlines Madison Square Garden, then I'll stop doing this show. Like, that's almost how confident I feel. Like, Seiya Sonata is not freaking headlining with Jay White.
Dude, if this was any other New Japan Cup where the winner gets a title shot, Sakura Genesis or Dantaku or some other tour, I'd be like, sure.
Yeah.
Sonata could win. Yeah, let's do Sonata and Jay White at one of these other, you know, tours. Sure, go for it. Why not? You know, it's a flavor of the month title shot.
You know what you sound like? You sound like Jan on The Office when she's talking about why she didn't let Michael father her children. She's like, sure, if I was younger and, you know, then why not let Michael have a crack at one of these kids? She's like, but I'm old. She's like, I got to make this one count. And it's like, they might only be in Madison Square Garden one time. They got to make this one count.
Yeah.
They're not going with Sonata.
And the way things are kind of going in the West with New Japan, like, they need to knock it out the park with this main event.
I mean, they're not going with Sonata, so there's no need for me to feel surprised because I think the story is pretty obvious. Like, he's gonna get beat by Zack Sabre, and that's gonna be it.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go into our kind of final predictions because this week we have the Elite Eight, the Final Four, and then the finals. The finals are on Sunday coming up, March 24th. So
busy week.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy week of New Japan. Before we go into that, though, we had a question from Just a Little Bear 01. He says, "Who surprises you the most still being in after 2 rounds?" For me, it's Colt Cabana. Yeah, Boom Boom Colt Cabana.
Colt Cabana.
Yeah, I mean,
why is he still in it?
I mean, every other guy could be like, okay,
it feels like some sort of make good with Ring of Honor. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, of all the Ring of Honor guys that you could have brought in this tournament and had them advance, like Colt Cabana.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah. And then a question here from Reddit user Seth101793. With the final 8 now revealed, how do you see the rest of the New Japan Cup is going to play out? So that's exactly what we're going to do next. So first we have Will Ospreay versus Kazuchika Okada.
Well, we'll get into it into the news, but they've made it very clear. If any of you have seen it on social media, or if you were watching the Ring of Honor 17th anniversary telecast this past weekend, it is official. Will Ospreay will be facing...
Well, it's not official.
It's official.
Goto challenged Will Ospreay.
No, not Goto.
Cobb challenged Will Ospreay. They never came out and said that this match is actually happening yet.
That's official, bro. It's official. And Will Ospreay was on social media, and he said, well, he tried to cover it up, and he's like, well, I'll just wrestle twice on that night at Madison Square Garden.
Which is not unlike Will Ospreay to do.
Yeah, but let's stop delaying the fact. Let's stop trying to kayfabe the show, Jeremy. Okay, you're supposed to be a white hat. Okay,
I'm trying to help out Ring of Honor.
You're supposed to be a technico here.
I'm trying to help our friends over at Ring of Honor out.
They're not our friends.
But yeah,
it's pretty clear he's not gonna beat Okada because he's already got a match booked for MSG, unless they decide to unless it's a red herring, and they're not doing the Cobb match, kind of like how they threw up a little red herring with God and
Briscoes
and the Briscoes. So I don't know. But and we still don't know what's going to happen with that. I've got a feeling that
it's going to be a three-way.
Maybe. But and even if that wasn't thrown out there, I still would have gone with Okada. I think Okada is going to defeat Will Ospreay. He's going to do the hat trick 1, 2, 3. This will be their third meeting, and he's beating him for the third time straight in a row.
Yeah, I feel like this will be the closest that Ospreay comes to beating Okada. But once again, like you mentioned, Okada's going to clean him out. And like you were saying, even with this never title match, if this match was not announced, I still, like you said, would go with Okada here.
This, for me, is the match I'm most anticipating since the Ibushi and Naito match in this tournament. So I'm very excited.
Yeah,
I didn't think we were getting this match.
Yeah, this match has the potential to be the match of the tournament, to be 5 stars. It could break the scale.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm expecting great things from this one.
I think what's really interesting is the other match in the same bracket. We have Yoshihashi taking on the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii. And we have seen Ishii and Yoshihashi both compete against Okada in the past in singles competition during the G1. We saw that Yoshihashi was defeated just this past G1 against Okada. Tomohiro Ishii actually holds a singles victory over Okada from the 2016 G1, which he never did get a rematch or a title shot based off of that, which at the time I believe Okada was the champion.
Yeah, he was.
So very, very interesting, and we've already kind of covered the chaos implications, but do you feel like, because we're already getting a match that people said was too big to give away. They were like, there's no way they're doing Okada and Will Ospreay. It's too big to give away in this tournament. They're giving it away. I think everyone with a brain knows that Ishii and Okada is like probably the next biggest match you could do within Chaos. Do you feel like that's too big to give away and they do a Cinderella run for Yoshihashi?
I don't think so. I mean...
Or you think the Stone Pitbull is going to be the last formidable test for,
I think Ishii is going to be the last test. I think Ishii and Yoshihashi, based off the multi-man matches, they're going to have a nice little strong style match. And Ishii is eventually just going to outpower Yoshihashi, put him away with the Brainbuster, and go against Okada.
Yeah, I could see, that's one that I'm not as confident on. I could see Yoshihashi winning this and being the final guy to take on Okada. But I hope it's Ishii. And I'm telling you right now, if it's Ishii, then that will be the match of the tournament. Period. Yeah. Okada Ishii will be the match of the tournament, and we're talking match of the year contender. Like a legit contender for match of the year.
But yeah, I don't think it's too big to give away here.
So we're predicting right now. We're going Ishii, Okada, and then Okada and Ishii with Okada going over.
Yep.
That's our official predictions.
Yep. So on the other side of the bracket, we have Sonata against Colt Cabana.
I think that's an open and shut. If Colt Cabana wins, something's wrong. Sonata needs to go to the semifinals.
Yeah. I mean, I totally expect Sonata to win here. And then we have Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr., a rematch of last year's finals of the New Japan Cup.
This is a tough one.
Yeah.
A really tough one.
Because, I mean, there's two ways you can go here.
You got a fresh Tanahashi.
Yeah, Tanahashi had a cakewalk in this tournament, defeating Umino and Taguchi. He had Sabre. He's had to battle Ibushi. And who was his first round?
Evil.
Evil, yeah. So, I mean, there's two, great matches you can go with here. You could have Tanahashi win, and then you get Tanahashi Okada once again.
Well, you have Tanahashi and Sonata first.
Oh, yeah. Well, Tanahashi will beat Sonata.
I'm not fully confident Sonata doesn't go to the
finals.
The finals. I think that's a possibility.
But I think there's a story there with Tanahashi and Okada, because the last time they wrestled, Tanahashi beat him. So that would be...
You're right.
That would be the real final test for Okada going back to being full Rainmaker, is beating Tanahashi, and then that would elevate him to, getting the IWGP title.
That's true. There's also the idea that, Sonata's the last member of LIJ.
Right.
I think he was unable to overcome Okada the last time that they wrestled. Mm-hmm. There's a story there, too.
There is a key to Sonata being the only LIJ guy. Because they took Evil and Naito out in the first round.
Right.
And you kind of need that LIJ presence going on throughout this tournament. So, yeah, there is a path for Sonata to get to the finals and to tell that Okada-Sonata story. And then also you have the Zack Sabre-Okada story, where you have, once again, Sabre beating Tanahashi once again. Then you have him beating Sonata once again. And then he's the champion from last year. He's a favorite. He's awesome in these tournaments. You have Sabre going to the finals thinking he's going to win again. And, he's never beaten Okada. So he's finally going to beat Okada and become New Japan Cup champ.
But keep in mind, just one small correction. You're jumping over Sonata again.
I said beat Sonata.
Oh, okay. But you kind of just jumped over it. And I think there's another interesting element there. This is the dude who got Sonata out of the tournament last year.
Mm-hmm.
You could hypothetically, with Sonata, you have two guys in front of him that Sonata's beat before. Mm-hmm. Sonata has beat Zack Sabre. He beat him during the G1 last year. He's also got a G1 tournament victory over Tanahashi. And I don't think that... Now, I'm not predicting that he's going to go to the finals, but I feel like it's too dismissive to be like, he's definitely losing, he's not going to the finals, because the finals ain't MSG. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I feel like he can have a great... Everyone who's like, would you be surprised if he wins the whole thing? It's like, he's not winning the whole thing, but would I be surprised if Sonata goes to the finals? That's a big push.
Yeah.
That's a really big push, and they could do that. I don't think they are. I just want to say, though, I want everyone to hear very clearly, because I feel like it's
I said there's a story for Sonata going to the finals,
but I don't think it's as I feel like you're it's not happening.
Fuck
them.
Out of all scenarios, out of all the stories, the Sonata story to me is it's not the hot option for me.
Yeah.
If I'm booking this thing, I'm going either Okada Tanahashi or Okada Sabre.
The other thing, too, is I feel like even if you do go Okada Tanahashi or Okada Sabre, you can't just gloss over Sonata, because he has a pivotal history with both these men, and it's an important part of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The same way how with us predicting Okada going forward, every match has these important stories because of how the built-in chaos, memberships and their teams and all that. With them being stablemates, that's kind of important.
Yeah.
I really think, and I could be wrong here, but this is my gut instinct. Last year in this tournament, Zack Sabre beat Tanahashi, he beat Sonata, he beat Ibushi, and he beat Naito. Those were all the guys he beat. It's the three of the same guys he beat back to back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to the finals. I really do. I think you could go Tanahashi, but I think they put Tanahashi in the finals of this tournament just last year. He was in the finals of the G1 last year. He won at Wrestle Kingdom. He had a title, reign. I don't think they're putting Tanahashi in the finals. I also think that there's a story to be built between Tanahashi and Okada one last time potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're doing it here. I think it's too soon for that crap.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards Sabre going to the final. You kind of get that a babyface heel dynamic there, and you just get the story of the former last year's New Japan Cup winner hitting the finals again. Okada's the one guy he always has trouble with. So
I also think it's important because, and Zach's mentioned this on commentary, like he's never been beaten March. Like he's the new Mr. March. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Forget
like,
you, Goto.
yeah, he's the new Mr. March, and like this guy has been dominant in this tournament last year and thus far. So in order for like Okada to really overcome in this tournament, like he's got to beat the guy who's like unbeatable in this tournament. Now I feel like that's an important story, and it's also a redemption story for Zach because Zach was unable to beat Okada just 1 year ago. I think it's a easy to see story. I think the other ones make sense, and you could go that way, and if they could throw us a curveball, but I really think we're getting Zach and Okada.
Yeah, I think that's the way I'm going. I wouldn't be too surprised if they do end up doing the Tanahashi story.
I wouldn't either.
Just because, Tanahashi just lost to Jay White, so he wants another crack. And plus the whole thing of him beating Okada the last time. So I wouldn't be completely surprised. I mean,
I wouldn't be completely surprised if they do Sonata either.
Sonata is the one thing where I'm like, to me, I'd be like, oh, okay.
I think that they love to push new stars. People talk about like pushing, Sonata. I think there's a reason he's the last guy in the tournament out of LIJ. They took the tag titles off of them. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the finals and gets a crack at Okada. We've already seen the kind of chemistry these two guys have together. You want to get somebody over the same way how they used this tournament to get Zack Sabre over. They could do that in the finals. Now, granted, I don't think Sonata's had a great tournament thus far. Right. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why people might be like, I don't know yet. But, I mean, you got to imagine he's going to have probably a good to great match against either Tanahashi or Zack Sabre either way. We've seen him have great matches. Those are two of his best opponents he's ever had. So, yeah. And then if he does go to the finals against Okada, he's going to have a great match there. I could really see that happening, but I'm going to tell you my official pick right now for the finals is Okada Zack Sabre, and I see Okada going over. Okada's winning this tournament. He's going to Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, so we have a question here from Reddit user JQNCG. He says, what do you think about the possibility of Okada wins the cup now that he's the undisputed favorite? Should he win the title at MSG? So we kind of gave our thoughts. We're both going with Okada winning this tournament. Now, should he win the title at MSG?
I say yes, because I'm going to be there, and I want to see the Rainmaker win the belt in the Garden.
And I'm
history.
I'm going to say yes for that reason also, because all of us will be there at the MSG show. But I just think from a story perspective, I think it's the right call. You've had Jay White just one up and get the better of Okada and Chaos for almost a year now, and I think it's time for Okada to get some comeuppance and get some revenge on the Switchblade.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think that's where we're headed. I think that's going to be a great main event, and I want to see it.
Question from 91 Reasons You Lose. You guys think New Japan will go a second champ in a row without a successful defense? After all, the building of White Gato has done. If Okada wins the New Japan Cup, I can't see him losing to White again. I think Okada gets this thing.
Yeah, we discussed this a few weeks ago. And thank you for the question. It's a great question. But it was something we kind of touched on a few weeks ago where many times when guys get their first ever IWGP title reign, they're not always long reigns.
Right.
We've seen that there's a lot of historical references you can point to where that has been the case for lots of guys where maybe they get one successful title defense or none. And I think that they have, even without him having a successful title defense, I mean, Jay White has been built up like a freaking monster. I mean,
yeah, and like you mentioned last week, the Ospreay match kind of served, it wasn't an official title defense, but that kind of served a big one-on-one main event match.
Not only that, but just the streak of singles guys he's beat in a row. I mean, Ospreay, Tanahashi, Okada in the Dome. it doesn't really get much bigger than those 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he has to have this monster title reign and defend all the way through the G1 up until, Wrestle Kingdom to have a memorable run. I mean, it doesn't get much more memorable than that. I mean, he beat 3 monsters back to back.
They've heated him up to the point where he doesn't really need the belt to be a main eventer. Like, he's established main event guy now.
Yeah, and I think with them being in Madison Square Garden, the reality is, as much as we say that Jay White's the guy, we only mean that in one context. We mean Jay White is the guy that they want to push on the foreign side of things. Don't get it twisted. The guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling,
the ace
is Okada. Okada's not coming to Madison Square Garden to lay down for nobody. Okay? Especially not dusty old Jay White, the 4-star savior. No, I'm just playing, but they're gonna have a great match, and I think that's why they had Jay White beat him clean in the Dome, is so that he can get his comeuppance in the Garden. This is gonna be a special moment. It's gonna be a special night. Okada's winning the belt. That's what's happening, and I'm sorry that I'm Nostradamus on you boys right now, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, that's I'm right there with you, man. All right, so we have a few kind of off-topic questions. We'll answer those real quick, and then we'll jump into the news. First question comes from Twitter user @ProWrestMatthew. He says, thoughts on Shota Umino's anger towards the New Japan dads?
Ooh, I'm not as familiar with this. Is this something he's been talking about during...
I think what he's alluding to is just Umino's performances in the multi-man matches against, guys like Nagata and Kojima and Tenzan. We've seen it in the past where the young lions, they fire up. And I think especially after the Tanahashi performance, Umino's kind of like on a new high right now. And he wants to prove that he is a top-level guy. And so that's what he's getting in the face of a Nagata and a Kojima. One of the post-matches, him and Nagata were kind of going at it. So I think it's just like they're kind of getting Umino ready for Excursion, getting ready for the next level. And young lions always kind of try their luck with New Japan dads because those are the guys that kind of train them through the dojo, and they kind of want to show their teachers, like, hey, I'm more than just a young boy. Like, I'm a top athlete.
Yeah, no, those are great points. I actually feel like, and I apologize, guys, I've been slacking a little bit. I've kept up with this tournament, but I haven't been watching the undercards or the post-match comments as much, and I'm wondering if Umino's been saying something in the post-match comments that maybe I'm missing out on here because I don't have enough perspective on this. But I mean, you watched all the matches. Did you see him like doing anything especially like fiery when it came to the dads these past?
Well, yeah, there was one multi-man in particular. Like after the match, like he like hit Nagata and like got in Nagata's face, and they had to like pull Umino and Nagata apart.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I need to catch up on some of this, but that's interesting. Maybe they're giving him like a storyline, Maybe we get a Umino trial series. Well, we've seen Umino and
Nagata on the
numerous
Young Lions project.
Lionsgate.
Yeah,
project,
Lionsgate, yeah.
Which they kind of have phased those out this year. I haven't seen one in a long time.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when they're going to do another one. Interesting.
Yeah.
But very interesting. I hope that there's some sort of clear direction for what they're looking to do with Shota Umino and the dads. That would be cool. I mean, I really enjoyed when they did the dad series with Shibata a few years ago. I thought it was an interesting thing, and we just saw Nagata have one of the best matches of the entire tournament. What I think is the leading candidate for Strong Style Fight of the Year right now.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him like mix it up with Shota Umino.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. Asahi _Yojimbo sent 3 days ago, is a fear of New Japan's possible new quote-unquote dark age an overemphasis on the elite's popularity here in the States? Does there really even need to be a Gaijin ace? If so, why?
So
is that something people are saying, that we're in a new dark ages? Because we say that, but we're just like kind of joking. Is that like a Twitter thing?
Honestly, I haven't said it, but it wouldn't surprise me if people are saying that. I mean, with Jay White as champion in the main event, people have already been saying New Japan's like falling off a cliff. But I do think and we'll talk about this later in the news. I mean, the Elite leaving has struck a blow in the Western expansion of New Japan.
Not just that, but AEW existing.
Yeah.
Has done the exact same thing that you just mentioned.
Right. And now but I wouldn't consider it a dark age. I mean, we have to remember that Japan is the main market for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and things are still going great in the homeland, in the domestic market. Ticket sales are still going great there for all those shows. As far as I've been hearing, I haven't heard anything, tickets not selling or anything crazy going on over there. So things are going fine in the homeland.
Dark Age is just it's such a crazy thing to say. Right. I mean, I don't know, man. I watched New Japan during the Dark Ages. This ain't it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When the match quality goes down, I'll call it a Dark Ages. When the booking quality goes down, I'll call it a Dark Ages. When the houses go down, I'll call it a Dark Ages. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I haven't seen any of those things happen. Now, it can't be underestimated or understated how valuable Kenny, the Bucks, Marty, Hangman, Cody, the whole package, these are stars. And, they're selling out giant, arenas across the country with just being a t-shirt company, basically. No, but all kidding aside, they're huge stars. And, AEW getting a foothold here in the U.S., it's going to cause problems for the ambitious expansion into the U.S., and we'll talk about it here in a little while, but it's clear that it's, causing a rift and an issue with New Japan being able to expand into the U.S. I also think that there's a good chance that many people who were quote-unquote New Japan fans might have just been Elite fans, and you're probably going to see a large siphoning off of the fan base, whether they were really New Japan fans, Elite fans, anti-WWE fans, I don't know, but we are seeing that, as a case, but I'm not ready to call this a Dark Ages.
Right.
I mean, dude, the Dark Ages almost killed New Japan Pro Wrestling. They were gonna stop existing.
Yeah, they're nowhere near that point right now.
They're at their most profitable. They're doing their biggest gates, and now can they continue to do that? I don't know. And I mean, obviously, we're a New Japan podcast. We love New Japan as a product, so we're going to be biased to some degree in our evaluations. I try to be as objective as I possibly can be, but in no way is this a Dark Ages. You know what I'm saying? When we're seeing Will Ospreay and all these guys get these opportunities and pushes, no, I'm not ready to say that at all. As far as a Gaijin ace, it's kind of always had one.
Yeah. They've kind of always had one, but I do feel like with them trying to have a Western expansion, it does help having a top guy who's a Gaijin that you can use to help draw the house, help kind of somebody that the Western fans can kind of connect with. Now, is it 100% necessary? I don't think so. Because, I mean, if you are a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, bringing over Okada to the West will be a big deal for you.
Here's my thing with the whole someone being a Gaijin ace and them being I think we're seeing it with Jay White, and I'll say this, Jay White, we sing his praises all the time, how incredible he is, yada yada yada. Jay White's not going to draw here in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? Jay White's not going to show up at PWG and be marketable. He's not going to show up in ROH and pop the house. Why is that? Is it because he's, not marketable, not intriguing, or any of these things? No, that's not what it is. He doesn't have a connection to the Western audience because he's not. I mean, yeah, he did an excursion in ROH, but he didn't build a fan base here in the U.S.
Right.
I think the whole thing with why it worked with the Elite, and there's a lot of reasons why it worked, but it's ROH, PWG, their time on the Indies. Cody was from WWE. you know, the TV that they were featured on with ROH and all these different things.
And a little bit of Impact.
Impact, being the Elite. I mean, it took years for them to build up and cultivate what they have now, which is what they were able to catapult and turn into AEW. It's a totally different thing. It has nothing to do with them being white. It has nothing to do with them being from the U.S. Now, the fact that they could come to the U.S. and work these shows all the time and help draw eyes and audiences to New Japan, that was the benefit. They were able to go to California and headline with the Bucks because they're the Bucks. They're from California.
Right.
You can't bring Will. Maybe you could with Will Ospreay, but you can't show up with Jay White and draw at the Cow Palace because it's Jay White. You can probably go to Australia and draw a Jay White because he's from Australia.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just a totally different thing. Right now, they don't have, in my estimation, and maybe I'm wrong, they don't really have any foreign guys that have a strong connection to the U.S. other than maybe Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And even that, it's like, how strong is that connection?
Michael Elgin's kind of kaput after all the stuff that happened with him.
Yeah.
They would need to latch onto a guy like Jeff Cobb or something like that at this point. And
I will say, though, with Ospreay, he's going to be great for the UK expansion.
Absolutely. Him and Zack Sabre.
Yeah.
The two of them. So I don't know, like, and I'm not downplaying any of these guys. I'm just saying, like, they wanted to expand into the US, but they lost all the guys that were key components, Kenny especially,
right,
to expanding into the US. So yeah, I don't think it has so much to do with skin color or being foreign. I actually think they could probably draw better in the US pushing the Japanese guys.
Yeah. I mean, we saw with the whole visa issue, people want to see the Japanese talent.
Yeah, I think that they lost a lot of goodwill.
People want to see New Japan Pro Wrestling. They want to see Okada, Tanahashi, Ishii. Like, they want to see the Japanese stars. So,
Suzuki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yojimbo had another question. He said, Shingo Takagi has been protected extremely well, still having not been pinned or submitted since October. How/when do you think he finally loses a match for himself?
Like in a tournament final, maybe at the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors. Although most guys do lose at least once or twice during the Super Juniors. That would be pretty shocking if he
went undefeated.
Yeah, if he went undefeated, he could though.
He could, yeah.
You might want to do that if you're Gato. You might want to do that and then have him lose in the finals. That would make him look extremely strong, and then he drops it to like Hiromu. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a tournament would probably, Best Super Juniors would probably be the best way. I mean, unless you build up something big.
If you're building it, you got to make it mean something.
Yeah. Like, if he's going to go undefeated, might as well put the belt on him and then build up a challenger eventually to beat him.
That's another thing, yeah. If you put the title on him, maybe in a title defense against the guy you want to get the shine, that would make sense too.
Yeah. Twitter user @HeadbandBrother. He says, a podcast I recently heard said that Hiromu's popularity would eventually lead to New Japan putting him in the heavyweight division. Is this something you see as likely if he comes back?
Yeah, I always kind of thought that was eventually going to be the case. At this point, do I see that being the case if he comes back? I really couldn't say. I don't know what we're going to get from Hiromu when he comes back, to be honest with you. I hope that he's healthy, and I hope he can still wrestle. I don't know. But, I always thought he would be a guy to transcend and go into the heavyweight division.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, he's so charismatic. He's such a star, and he's such a phenomenal wrestler. I mean, he has all the tools to be a top heavyweight star in New Japan. So, yeah, just a matter of, like, exactly how, is he truly going to be 1,000% when he comes back, and kind of what the booking plans are. I mean, he might sit in the junior division for a little bit longer, and until they could, make room for him up in the heavyweight division. So we'll see what happens there. Then from Twitter user @TwitterAintShit, what would you guys think if NJPW signed James Storm for the tag division, and who would they team him up with?
I don't think they should sign James Storm. James Storm from TNA?
Yeah, the Cowboy.
Why would they do that? There's so much talent out there. He's old, right?
Yeah,
like mad old.
He's in his upper mid 40s, I believe. Don't get me wrong. Like, I loved Cowboy James Storm in Impact. I thought America's Most Wanted was a great tag team during the time, and I thought even Bear Money was a great tag team, and even his little singles run towards the end wasn't bad. But I mean,
didn't he try to kill Mickey James?
Yeah, he pushed Mickey in front of a train.
It's good stuff.
But I mean, James Storm is. If I was, Gato called me up and he was like, I'm trying to sign somebody. Should I sign James Storm? I'd be like, no.
I mean, if they were going to bring him in, it would have to be for the tag division, because why would you bring him in for anything else? Like, I'm saying, he's old. You want to team him up with somebody? Let's team him up with Mikey Nichols.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know.
Oh, my God. I mean, they are two tag guys. I mean,
who could James Storm's tag with that would even
make sense?
No, I don't want to. Keep him away.
Storm and Elgin?
I thought of that for a second. No, that'd suck. James Storm should not be in New Japan Pro Wrestling. That would not be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get to this news.
Oh, actually, there was one more question I forgot to write down from Twitter from our boy Sir Sam. Crap, I just saw. There you go. So it says, any chance we will see Kenta in NJPW? Freaking loved his run in 205 Live, and he could be an interesting presence in the heavyweight ranks.
It's possible, but I don't think it's likely.
Yeah, and Sam, if you like the 205 Live stuff, you should really go back and
watch his stuff from Noah.
Yes, and
watch his matches with Marufuji. Watch his matches with Bryan Danielson. Watch his matches with Kenta Kobashi, Takashi Morishima. Tons of, just incredible matches. Kenta was the man, dude.
And even some of his Ring of Honor stuff. Against Dan O'Brien, and he had a match with Samoa Joe, right?
Yeah. He's got a 5-star match with Nigel McGuinness. That's incredible.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things. I don't know if his loyalty still alive with Noah. I know they have new management. They've been changing some things up there.
I don't know if New Japan wants him, but you know what? I say that, but then I'm like, well, they signed Mikey Nichols, so the heck's going on?
Right. So again, I don't even know what kind of really shape he's in. The end of the 205 Live run. He didn't look absolutely great. Just be interesting to see if he comes in, what kind of performance.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. It all just depends.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to transition into the news here. So it was announced today that the IWGP US title will be on the line at the New Japan Cup Finals. Juice will defend against the crown jewel Chase Owens.
Yep, so I guess I was wrong on that one.
I know a lot of people were kind of worried about that one being at Madison Square Garden, but not to fear. It's happening this weekend on Sunday at the New Japan Cup Finals. Who you got on that one?
Juice.
Yeah, I'm going Juice also.
Juice fucks. Juice fucks. Juice fucks.
So next up, G1 Supercard of Honor. There were a lot of updates, coming from the Ring of Honor 17th anniversary pay-per-view that happened on Friday.
Show of the year. Wrestle Kingdom's got competition for show of the year right here.
Yeah. So it was announced on the pre-show they will be bringing back the Honor Rumble.
The Rambo.
Which is, over Top Rope Battle Royal. The winner gets a Ring of Honor World title shot.
Really?
Yeah.
Have they've done an Honor Rumble before?
I believe, there was an Honor Rumble last year at Supercard.
There was?
I think so.
I didn't see
I don't remember, but they've done Honor Rumbles before.
We didn't go to the pre-show. So.
Yeah. Also, we had a title change. Villain Enterprises, PCO, and Brody King, they defeated the Briscoes in the main event of the show to become the new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. So as of right now, they will face the Gorillas of Destiny in the title versus title matchup.
Yep.
What do you think about that change?
I think it's fine. I think it's really strange that they ran an angle in Japan with guys that as of now are not booked in the match. So I gotta imagine they're gonna be in the match somehow, just because it's an important card. Briscoes are one of their biggest acts.
Yeah,
there's no way they're not gonna be involved.
I have a hard time seeing the Briscoes just in the Honor Rumble and not on the card at all.
But then again, we're only 2 weeks away. We don't have a lot of time to...
And they did TV on Saturday, the day after pay-per-view, and there was no news of that match changing.
That would be so weird. That's such weird booking. But yeah, so... but yeah, it's fine. I mean, Villain Enterprises against the Girls' Destiny. It doesn't really do any... I mean, I'm excited to see Villain Enterprises because I love Brody King and I love PCO. But them taking on the Girls of Destiny doesn't scream like classic to me.
Right.
You know, that's the match that nobody asked for.
I mean, I think they're really going to have to depend on PCO and Brody King to kind of be like the highlights of that match.
Yeah. So.
Then also, as we mentioned earlier, Jeff Cobb challenged Will Ospreay, title versus title. I had a question here from 91 Reasons to Lose. Do you think ROH made a mistake by announcing Cobb Ospreay title for title at MSG with Will still alive at the New Japan Cup? Because how they booked the other side of the bracket with all the favorites losing early and knowing Cobb Ospreay makes it pretty clear Okada's winning.
Yeah, I think that they made a mistake. They should have held off. That was pretty dumb on their part, especially... I don't know, man. It's pro wrestling. Like, you know, I work in a corporate, like, environment and, like, you know, communication's not always there. But you got to imagine these two big companies, they kind of know how things operate in New Japan. They know that this guy's in a tournament. They probably, I don't know. They could have waited.
Yeah, that's
a few days.
That's one of the things they could have done where they shot a video and dropped it on social media as soon as Ospreay lost.
Yeah, they could have waited. So
yeah.
It's just till Wednesday.
Yeah, like after the match, drop the promo of Cobb being like, you know, just had a great defense against Shane Taylor. Ospreay, I haven't forgotten that you pinned me at Honor Rising. I want you title for title MSG. And then we'd have been on our way.
I think Jeff Cobb's taking the Never Belt.
I don't know. Part of me, I'm not giving my official prediction, but part of me could say Ospreay taking the TV title.
Nah, dog. Cobb's winning the Never Belt.
Well, I'm not giving my official prediction just yet on that. But right now, I'm kind of leaning towards Ospreay. Also on that show, Roosh defeated Bandito, and after the match, Dalton Castle came out and challenged Roosh for MSG. So that match is official. Roosh versus Dalton Castle.
Later, and I don't have much to say about that. It's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a match to highlight Roosh.
Pretty much, yeah. Then on the 17th anniversary, Bully Ray came out. He attacked Mega Ran, which is like, I guess, two rappers. It was a really weird segment. But then he cut a promo challenging a mystery opponent to a New York street fight. At the end of his promo, he basically said that I can't say who you are, but you know who you are, Punk.
Yeah.
And so it's confirmed. Bully Ray versus CM Punk. Madison Square Garden.
Oh,
it's happening.
Oh my god.
That's what he's talking about, right?
I think that's who he wants us to believe he was talking about.
Nah, that's who he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who this person is that he could be talking about.
Probably just gonna be like freaking
Flip Gordon. Yeah.
It's probably gonna be Flip again, but the freaking feud that will not die.
Yeah. Jeez.
But so that's interesting. Also, we're getting a triple threat ladder match for the ROH title.
Yeah, so Jay Lethal and Matt Taven wrestled a 60-minute Broadway.
My God.
A lot of mixed reviews on that match. Some people loved it.
I'll give you the only review that matters is sucked.
I won't say it sucked, but it was just fine. Like, to me, it went too long.
It wasn't even fine to me. I'm an old school fan. I've watched a million Broadways. I love Broadways. This was like not a good one at all. I did not like it. I don't care what anyone says. Like I don't think that just having a hot 5 minutes and then a hot 5 minutes in the beginning and hot 5 minutes at the end makes a match good. Like I didn't enjoy it. I thought it's 2019, dude.
It went way too long.
It went way too long. I was so tired, bro. Like it killed the show for me. I hated it.
Yeah, it definitely threw the whole vibe and energy of the show off. But there are some fans out there that loved it and think it was great.
Y'all wrong.
But
y'all the reason I'm out here watching hour-long matches between Jay Lethal and freaking Matt Taven. My God.
But after the match, Marty Scurll came out and stole the Ring of Honor title.
It's the best thing that happened.
It was already announced that he's going to face the winner at MSG. Then they filmed an angle at the TV tapings the next day, which set up the ladder match. So now it's Marty Scurll versus Jay Lethal versus Matt Taven in a ladder match for the title.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
It's fine. I was excited for Marty Scurll and Jay Lethal. I thought that match would be good. I guess, they're trying to get Matt Taven over. They're doing a ladder match. It'll be fine.
I mean, it's pretty hard to screw up a ladder match, right?
I've seen some bad ladder matches, but yeah, it should be fine.
With these three guys, I think it should pull off something decent.
I really don't like Matt Taven.
Same here. But I love Marty and I love Jay, so.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm also thinking, how many... I don't know any of these guys to be big risk takers or put on gutsy performances. It's not I love Jay Lethal, but he's not this hungry young kid who's trying to wow the world or get signed. All eyes are on him. Same thing with Marty. I think these are all pretty safe guys who are not wanting to. What I mean is this is not SCU and the Bucks,
right? Or Bucks and the Briscoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens there.
I feel like this is going to be a psychology ladder match. they're going to work a smart ladder match.
Different. Next thing, so the 2018 Observer Awards dropped last week, and New Japan cleaned house. We had Kenny Omega winning Wrestler of the Year, Most Outstanding Wrestler, Best Wrestling Maneuver with the One Wing Angel, and the Japanese MVP. We had the Young Bucks Tag Team of the Year, New Japan Promotion of the Year, Okada vs. Omega from Dominion Match of the Year, Will Ospreay Non-Heavyweight MVP and Best Flying Wrestler, Hangman Page Most Improved, Naito Most Charismatic, Zack Sabre Jr. Best Technical Wrestler, Tomohiro Ishii Best Brawler, Kevin Kelly Best TV Announcer, Dominion Best Major Wrestling Show, Gato Best Booker, Kadani Promoter of the Year, and Eggshells Best Pro Wrestling Book. So New Japan just wiped them out, man.
Dark Ages.
But yeah, but we're having such a horrible time, and the business is going down. It's the end of New Japan, and yeah,
Dark Ages, dude. Tickets for the July 6th G1 opening day in Dallas went on sale on October 13th. They did not do a pre-sale, and the first day sales, as reported, were just over 1,600 tickets.
Yeah, so this was not great. This is not what they're looking for.
Yeah, and they also, I don't know if we have it in the news here, but the tickets also were released for the Royal Quest. And
yeah, that's next on the docket there. So yeah, that's happening August 31st. The Copper Box Arena in London sold 4,500 tickets for the pre-sale, and it's set up for 7,500. And they were holding a lot of tickets back for the public sale, which happened on March 14th, in which I'm hearing a lot of tickets sold for that, and they're near a sellout. So we're having two exact opposites here.
Yeah, and I just brought that up because it's very interesting. Obviously New Japan's very happy with the Royal Quest tickets, doing well, whereas here in Dallas, not so much. And I mean, I think there's a lot of contributing factors to this. I mean, there's a lot. And I'll just go through them very quickly. They lost the Elite. They're running this show at a time when a bunch of other major fly-in shows are taking place in pretty close proximity. We have no announced talent, right, for the show?
Yeah, no announced talent, no announced card.
No announced card.
Fans are still stung by the visa issue from the New Beginning tour.
The visa issues from just a few months ago just recently occurred. And I don't know that Dallas is a huge fly-in market to begin with. Also, the ticket prices are very high as opposed to many of the other shows that they've run in the U.S. I mean, these are the highest ticket prices they've ever had. And then finally, just a lack of marketing and a lack of awareness. They have not done a good job promoting this thing to fans here in the U.S. All of these contributing factors have resulted in 1,600 tickets selling on the first day, which is not good at all. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not what they're looking for. I mean, not great for the Western expansion, and I mean, with all those factors you mentioned. And I mean, at this point, I mean, they know who's going to be in the G1, and I don't think there's any matches or storylines that's going to stop. Because I mean, all the champions are in, so I don't think there's going to be any spoilers. Like, they should announce who's in the G1 and who's going to be wrestling in singles matches that night.
I don't know okay, I don't think they have to do all that, to be honest with you. If you want my opinion, I think all they have to do, all they needed to do and should be doing is promote who's going to be on the card. It doesn't even have to be everybody.
Right. But at least say, hey, Kazuchika Okada, Naito,
Tanahashi, Ibushi are all going to be there. Zack Sabre. You know what I'm saying?
Will Ospreay.
You name 5 or 6 big stars. These guys, and then we know that they're going to be in the G1.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they always like to do, like, hold off and do the G1 announcements, but it's like, dude, you gotta do something.
Because don't they normally wait until Dominion?
Yeah.
Like, they can't wait until Dominion.
They cannot wait till Dominion to try to sell out. I mean, I don't know what the setup is, but, like, from some of the reports and some of the things I heard people saying, they were saying that, like, that the setup looks small. Like, that are they not utilizing the entire arena?
I guess not.
From what I understand.
Yeah.
There was only, like, select tickets available, which means, like, they like, had blocked off a lot of, like, what people would have seen as, like, cheap seats. I don't know everything, but I'm just saying, like, dude, this is something that I know it's just March and we've got 4 months to this show, but, like, we've done this in the past where we're like, well, we'll wait and see. But in Dallas, at a big arena like this, 1,600 tickets, I don't know that you can recover from this. I don't know that. I think that, I know in the past we've been like, well, let's wait and see, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you right now, could it still do well ticket-wise? Maybe, depending on if they make some changes. But right now I'm ready to say that it is highly likely that this is already a failure and will remain a failure. I don't see a likely scenario where they can recover from this in a quick manner.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They're going.
I don't know if they will, bro.
Yeah,
like, I'm saying that likely. If I was a betting man, I'd say they're not going to, and this is going to be a financial failure.
They're going to need a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I believe in miracles like that.
But with that being said, though, we will be in attendance.
We will be
for the G1 Climax.
We will be. I didn't know we would be.
Neither did I.
I wasn't planning on it. But someone has reached out, a higher power.
The social suplex higher power has helped us.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna be in Dallas, July 6th. We're gonna be one of the 16, one of the 1,600. It's like people don't even know that the G1's happening in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Like, We had G1 Special in USA, G1 Special in San Francisco, the G1 Supercard. Like, now they're doing the G1, but it's the actual G1
Climax.
And it's like people aren't even gonna people don't even know, bro.
Yeah,
like people don't know. And then, have you seen any advertisements for this thing, like online?
I mean, I've seen a couple things on Twitter, but
I haven't seen crap.
Yeah,
I haven't seen, and from what I'm hearing, like they're not doing crap. It's like there's a lot of things they could be doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how like up they are on their technology, but couldn't they like run analytics and see like which users live in like the Texas area and maybe like send out an email blast or something, or like maybe just to US users?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? We can do that.
Yeah.
At Social Suplex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this is bad. This is bad.
We had a question here from Floyd, who hosts All Things Elite here on the network. He says, do you think NJPW will try to book Omega Jericho for the Dallas show to boost sales?
Omega Jericho 3, yeah, we're getting that. Run it.
I mean, they can try and book it, but I don't think All Elite Wrestling, with that being one of their marquee matches for Double or Nothing.
I was just joking. I don't think he's saying Omega versus Jericho.
Just Omega and Jericho, period.
Yeah. It would be great if they were to do that. I just don't know if they will.
I mean, if I'm them, well, it's going to be hard for Jericho. 'Cause, I mean, obviously Jericho's probably not going to be doing a G1. Like, so what big star can you pull out of the G1 to face Jericho just for a one night only kind of thing?
Dude, just having Jericho on the card in a bullcrap multi-man match. Not that he would do it. They'd have to pay him so much money.
Yeah.
It'd probably be a financial failure just from having to pay him so much money.
But I mean, if I were them, I would back the Brinks truck up to Kenny Omega and be like, look, we need you in this G1.
Okay, I got it right now. This is what you do. Omega wants to be in the G1. You put him in the G1. That's a done deal. That's taken care of. With Jericho, you run an angle. You know he loves to do angles.
Right.
He doesn't even have to work. He'll just show up, dress up, do some bull crap, beat somebody up, get a payday, and then they can set up business in the future for Jericho. You know, maybe at King of Pro Wrestling or some crap. That's what you do. Now, I don't know if them doing... Maybe they need to involve Jericho in New Japan prior to this. So that there is an inkling, like, and a rumbling, like, Jericho did a video, maybe he'll show up.
Like New Japan Cup Finals, like, attack somebody or drop a video.
Something.
Or, I mean, we still have, we got Don Taku coming up.
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, we got MSG.
There's all sorts of things you could do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe they need to do that. But, yeah, right now, things are not looking good. Now, if they come out with, like, a strong enough looking card, anything could happen. But, man, it's not... like, you can't wait till Dominion.
It's literally a month before the show, June 9th, and then the show is July 6th.
Can't do it. They got to announce something. They got to.
Yeah. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens there. We also had a question here from Reddit user Eater of Bread. Given the difference in ticket sales between the Dallas and London shows, should the UK get next year's G1 opener?
Yeah, maybe. I think that they're doing a IWGP title match.
At Royal Quest?
At Royal Quest. I don't know if you saw, like, there was, like, a press release, and they were saying that because this is the first event following the G1, that there's added implications. And I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Dude, all I know is, remember last year, I'm not saying they're going to do this, but remember last year when Zack Sabre was like, I'm going to win this, and then I'm going to cash in my title shot in England before Wrestle Kingdom so that I can win the IWGP title on British soil.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what if they have a British wrestler win it and then get a title shot before Wrestle Kingdom, and then everything is thrown out the window for the whole Wrestle Kingdom title shot, and they can just build something new moving forward after Royal Quest.
Dude, they can totally do that. And, they announced some more talent. So they already had announced Tanahashi, Okada, and Naito. And this past week, they announced Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr.
Yep.
So clearly, the two UK guys, they're going to be in some big matches for that show. But yeah, that's an interesting scenario that you just presented right there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's just, it's something that they could do. But, things are very, very, very hot for wrestling in Europe right now, especially with, some of the big changes that took place with the UK scene just recently. They're like dying to see, Japanese talent and New Japan as a product. Whereas like the hot thing in the US is AEW.
Yeah.
Obviously that's detracting from the fan base that was kind of tuning into New Japan or what have you. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how New Japan kind of deals with that, if they're even able to, because they've shown a lack of understanding of the marketplace in the U.S., in times past, definitely. You know what I mean?
And then the final thing I have here is kind of the situation with Davey Boy Smith Jr. Kind of going on Twitter and, being thankful that he's able to wrestle athletic, serious matches in All Japan Wrestling. Somebody asked him, what about your matches in New Japan? He said, the ones that I have are unathletic. So any thoughts on that, on Davey Boy Smith Jr.'s comments there?
He's pissed he had to put over Yano.
He has to put over Yano like every year.
All the time.
Yeah. And from what I see of Davey Boy Smith Jr., when he's serious, he's a solid big man.
He's he's an incredible big man. They just have never really pushed him or gotten behind him like that.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. Like you mentioned earlier, like he's a guy that should have gone, deep into the New Japan Cup. Imagine what if it was Ospreay and Davey Boy Smith Jr. instead of Ospreay and Archer. Like they could have potentially have an even better match.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap things up this week. Next week, we'll be back to review the final matches of the New Japan Cup, and of course, covering all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Don't forget to check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, ProWrestlingTees.com/Social Suplex, to grab your Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt. And don't forget to get ready for Suplex Mania happening April 7th at the Hooters across from Madison Square Garden.
Seriously, guys, if you are looking for a place to watch WrestleMania weekend during WrestleMania weekend and you're not attending the show, please come out. It's going to be an awesome, incredible time. You can come see us do the live podcast. You can come get drink specials, food specials, hang out with us, all the clique. It's gonna be dope.
Watch this 8-hour WrestleMania with us.
Yep. It's gonna be litty.
Make sure you connect with us on social media. On Twitter, I am at Jeremy L. Donovan. The show is at KI Strong Style. You can also follow us at Social Suplex. On Facebook, we're Facebook.com/Social Suplex. You can also find us in the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group, Facebook.com/group/Wrestling Squared Circle. On Reddit, I'm the Pro Black Guy. Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. You can email me, Jeremy at socialsuplex.com. Check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. On Sundays, we have One Nation Radio with Rich Latta and James Boyd. On Mondays until the beginning of April, we have the Omega Luke Podcast. On Wednesdays, we have the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast from Scotland. Every other Wednesday, we have our podcast dedicated to independent wrestling. Grown Men Watch This Shit, hosted by Jeremy Tate and Chris Bryan down in Australia. And then on Fridays, we have NXT Then, Now, and Forever with James Boyd. And on Saturdays, we have All Things Elite with Floyd Johnson Jr. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a rating and review, and we will catch you next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.